Hello, everyone. Happy BIPOC VampDay weekend. Welcome to our production of Eat the Reich, also subtitled Last Night at the Blue Note. This is a homebrew that I made for these fabulous players here. We are so thrilled to be here today to entertain y'all. Just a friendly reminder, BIPOC VampDay is a day for us to all come together in creepy kid vampire unity, but also is one where we're trying to raise some money. So if you have the means and the financial ability to, please definitely throw some donations over toward the Sickle Cell Foundation, who we are raising money for today. If you don't know, sickle cell anemia is a specific type of anemia that disproportionately affects Black people and Black communities. It is a problem where your red blood cells are sickle shaped, so they don't act the same way that a regular shaped, like a regular ovular shaped platelet would. And it can cause really extreme concern and issues for people. I actually have someone in my family who passed away from complications with sickle cell. So it is very much something that is important to me and the people that I come from. So if you don't have the means, that's totally okay. Please enjoy the show. We are happy to have you here and share in the space with you. Just please think about giving us a retweet. Let your friends know. If you have a friend that just got a really good job and they're looking for something to spend their money on, it's us. It's us. It's us. During this, you will see at the bottom of the screen, I believe, and in chat, there are different ways that you can donate to spend your cash. So for $10, you can give an extra die to any player's roll. It can be to the pool, or you can specify a player. For $20, we are going to allow people to get a weapons drop. We're going to have a weapons drop for all of our players. I just kind of decided just on my own, because I'm silly like that, that we should also allow a complete reroll of the dice, I think, for that much as well. That's just my personal preference. Then also for $30, you can spend that cash if you want to be able to have all of us, well, one of us, do a silly voice. The silly voices will be the silly voices will be something that a player can say no to. So don't feel like you have to do it. Someone else can volunteer to take it if you are not feeling that vibe. But essentially, I have a little bowl next to me, and I will fish in the bowl, and I will pull out a silly voice, and I will give you three options, and you choose the one that you feel would bring you the most joy. Um, then for $30, for $40, you can summon a random ally. So somebody awesome will show up. I'm not going to say who it is. They're just going to be like, presto, this person's here. They will, in fact, be vampire icons throughout history. But they will show up. They will help the party do whatever it is the party is trying to do. So again, that $20 weapons cash one, that's also a free reroll of all of the dice for one person. If you want that to be me, then you can say me. If you want that to be my players, I will be happy for that as well. You could say the players, you could put the player's name. However, you can send me one as well, because I notoriously roll terribly at these events. So please, I will make the game longer if I have to, if my rolls are really trash. But at the same time, I really don't want to have to, because I want you guys to have a good time killing Nazis, especially at this time, in these desperate times. We really need a game like this. Anyway, without further ado, please, everybody, let's go around the table, introduce yourself. Don't introduce your character just yet. We're going to do that in the fiction, but let everybody know who you are, where people can find you. Let's start with Aetherius, going clockwise. So, Blackwell, you're on deck.
Oh my God. So happy to be here. Hi, everybody. My name is Aetherius Bordeaux. I am an AP actor and content creator and Twitch affiliate. I am a main cast member over at Roll D5, which is a lovely channel that focuses on indie creators and voices within the space. Ecstatic to be here. So excited. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this. I have loved vampire fiction enough to make it kind of a central part of my personality in this space. And so this just feels like the chef's kiss. Brilliant. So happy to be here.
Yay. Next up, we have Blackwell with Mirm on deck.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing? My name is Blackwell, your everyman in the TTRPG D&D verse here on the interwebs. I'm just here to show you that, hey, I'm a regular guy and that you can do this too. You can hop onto a stream, tell a fabulous story with some fabulous people, And then you have your 9 to 5 tomorrow, or if you're like me, you have your residential kaiju that you got to wake up to at like 6:30, 8:30 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, that's some real talk. Usually like a sucker punch with the feet and the body, like right in the abdomen area. My stepdaughter used to pull that one all the time, just a bomb into the bed. Like, why are you a terrorist? I love you so much.
For me, it's the vocal screaming that they do early in the morning where they're just screaming.
Yep.
And I'm like, why? It's 8:30.
Because I
Why are we
can.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the bathroom, buddy. As
Why
we're potty
not?
training him.
Aw, okay. Yeah, it's an intense time for you in your house.
Yeah.
Everyone pour one out for Blackwell because this man is tired.
Lost my
if
40
if I
M's.
know you are tired.
But we keep marching on, regardless.
Right.
We keep
Raising the
marching
future.
on.
Oh my god. Next up we have Charm.
Hi, hello. Hi, I'm Charm. I go by @CharmFoolery on literally fucking everything. Yes, I bleep myself. I am a cosplayer. I am a streamer. I am also an AP performer. And if there's something to be done in APs, I like to call myself a tabletop RPG content mercenary. If I haven't done it, I want to do it, have researched it, or I'm about to do it. And that's just how my life is. I do a little bit of everything all the time. I'm constantly creating. That's my favorite thing to do in the entire world. And I'm so happy to be here to cause a little bit more uncontrolled chaos. It's going to be great. I adore vampires. Vampires are gay. They're the best. They're the best. What can you say about vampire content? It's always good. So I'm hoping to have a really good time, and I hope you guys do too. And it's for a good cause. So you better have a good time.
Or
Mandatory
else.
fun. Mandatory.
Yes.
Must have fun.
If you don't, I'm going to show up at your house.
Period. So, just as an overview for anybody who's watching, if you are curious, the game that we are homebrewing today, that we are telling in concert with each other, is called Eat the Reich. Eat the Reich is by Grant Howitt. It is, but with illustrations and layout by Gareth Neem, I believe his name is. I'm looking at the cover right now. I might be totally wrong. Nope, it's Will Kirkby. Just kidding. It's Grant Howitt and Will Kirkby. This is published by Rowan Rook and Descartes out of the UK. They have really fantastic TTRPGs. They also have done Die and Spire, as well as Heart, and Honey Heist. If you've ever heard of Honey Heist, that's a lot of people's first TTRPGs. That's all Grant Howitt. So really fantastic. It won a bunch of awards, and we have homebrewed it today to be more in line with the experiences of Black people and Black Americans in that time period. So this is set during World War II. The purpose of this game is to go over the the inoffensive parts of history, not trying to erase any of the sacrifices people actually made, but having a World War II setting, which what we do, TTRPGs, comes from wargaming. So taking that concept and kind of turning it on its head by giving the power to the people who are fighting against these evil forces and the SS regime, and taking back power for the people. So our cast here are a group of vampires that are being deployed into the situation to help kill the Führer. Content warnings for this, if you would like to keep yourself safe, which we very much would like for you to advocate for yourselves and make sure that you are doing whatever it is that you need to do and taking care of yourself. Content warnings, let me see. I have these listed. Blood, vampires, death, Nazis, gore, violence, ultraviolence, werewolves, supernatural, magic, zombies/scientific experiments, murder, dismemberment, explosions and explosives, and viscera. So we are going to be running a bloody disgusting game today. If at any time you, the audience, need to take a break, please do. Anytime anybody at the table, if you need to take a break and you would like to do so on your own, we've already created rules for that. Off camera, audience, if anybody gets up or raises a cup or does anything, there's a certain way that we are communicating with one another that we are going to keep for us, so that we don't have to explain everything to everyone. But just know that safety is being taken care of behind the scenes for everyone, including me. And yeah, if anybody needs to keep themselves safe, never feel bad for that at any table, especially when we're dealing with horror, especially when we're dealing with gore, especially in a situation like this where we are fighting actual bad guys that came for our rights, much like we are doing right now. So with that, we are going to get into it. Our scene opens in the city of Paris, France. It's evening, early evening. The sun has ducked down behind the horizon as the Eiffel Tower rises proudly above it. The moon is flirting with the top of this beautiful and ornately wrought building. We move down and down and down to a building right next door, a rooftop, to the side street that it's on, and then down through the concrete and the pavement into the basement. The camera focuses softly, sitting inside of a smoky club, about a dozen or so tables jotting the floor where patrons of all shapes and sizes are milling about trying to find a seat or dancing. A jazz band plays blues and what will one day be known as standards. But this is the 1940s, and this is all present day right now. The cigarette-choked air is filled with melodic bursts of beautiful noise. The stage is made of worn wood and steel girders, exposed brick just behind them. Not bad for a basement. The bar is modest in size, yet well-stocked. Something very uncommon in wartime, seeing that much liquor and that many supplies. But the staff, in their chosen garb, is very much staid. Everyone looks like they are serving a purpose here. No one looks like they are overindulging in fun. Makes sense. The criminals that they are serving in wartime, they revel in taking what's not theirs. And that includes some of the people in this room, and that includes all of the alcohol and supplies in this room. The patronage is made up of officers and peons in Hitler's regime. Their posture and countenance are always smug, always a sneer or a sly smile, coupled with a straight back and shoulders, false confidence for false men and women. But their money spends just as well as anyone else's in here, and every single person needs the credits. This is the Blue Note. This is the underground club you found yourselves working in for 4 months. Fang placed you on assignment, a team with specialized skills to infiltrate and fit into the secret haven known for jazz fiends, but now co-opted by Nazis for their own entertainment. As the weeks go by, those regulars, the ones who truly belong, have been showing up less and less and less, whether out of fear or because they're in graves, is unknown. The morale here is low. The energy is low. People are desperate and at the end of their ropes. None of these people have a place in this so-called new world of the Third Reich, but that doesn't keep these people from coming and being entertained by the people that they oppress. For 3 months, you've all been with Fang, working for Commander Slate to pass overhead information to her, giving the boots on the ground coffin drop cadre even more of a bloody advantage when they finally arrive tonight to storm the rest of the city. She gave you the details. An alarm will sound. Something will set you off. You'll know when it's time to go. You fight up to the top floor, taking care not to kill civilians, as they cannot help but be here. They're just living their lives. And as that missive closed and disintegrated in your hands, and you began your time in this place, we catch up to this very moment, the night that it all goes down. Everybody going in the exact same order we did our intros. Who are you? What do you look like? And what are you doing here tonight, both as a job and to prepare for the revolution to come?
So I am playing Bucci the Goon, who is a katana-wielding sex worker and someone who views themselves as a protector, particularly of the artists here. I think that the premium on self-expression to Bucci is higher than it has ever been. That freedom of expression, be that sexuality, be that paint to canvas, be that pen to page, to him is more important now than ever. And so he feels this deep-seated responsibility that is kind of belied by his jovial nature to ensure that this community is safe. and being here surrounded by what he would probably say is an abundance of sauerkraut in this bar is something that has him tense, but it is only something that I think is internal. So Bucci is I'm gonna say he's about my same skin tone. He is a thicker guy, right? He's got the thick thighs, which undoubtedly have saved many lives. He has what I believe the children would describe as cake for days. And we see him as he is leaned over the bar, reaching and kind of digging. And he is looking for a very specific reserve bottle of scotch that he has saved for this particular night. And he is dressed in a way that's a little bit more provocative than you would expect. He has a dress shirt that is open, and he is determined right now. He's playing a role, and right now that requires him to act like nothing is wrong. So he is incredibly intent on getting this bottle and making sure that he is able to at least have a drink with the crew before they go through what is undoubtedly going to be a very memorable night for a number of potential reasons.
You feel those eyes on you. Your work is not something, sex work is not something that you have shied away from, right? The looking beautiful and being handsome and sexy, that's your job. Whether you allow people to touch you or not is on you. The Fang agency sent in other people to make sure that you could still stay safe while being as authentic as possible. There is a man who is eyeing you and beckons to you, a man on the inside, a human that works with them. Tonight, his only instruction, other than to keep playing his role, is to get up and out the back door that is in the storage room of this place. It leads up onto the street so that he can head back to do what he needs to do. He has dark chocolate brown skin, a big smile, and he is posing as a Parisian, someone who can come in and enjoy the atmosphere, but also lend a bit of ambiance to it. People are things here. And while he is a patron, he also recognizes that above, out of character, he has a duty to himself and to others. The other officers that are sitting around have chased you for months, but every time you have this favorite that you decide to spend time with instead. And tonight is no different. Their eyes are all over you. And there's a little bit of joy, jubilance, when you feel the sergeant's hands on your shoulders. They're soft and warm and heavy. And you hear a whisper in your ear as he kind of passes over to the bar to get you your favorite drink. Any minute now. Any minute now.
We see Bucci do a deep inhale as he smells the warm sandalwood that his brain has come to associate with this person in particular. And those feelings of genuine intimacy to him can be few and far between, depending on how business is in a particular week or in a particular month. And so he, I think, would definitely turn. He is really holding back. He's exercising some like next level restraint and not like throwing this man on the bar right now and straddling him in front of these people. That sexual energy, I think, is shaken up like a pop can a little bit. And so we see him kind of intentionally move in a way that it reveals a little bit more skin, but in a way that is very casual and nonchalant.
Yeah, I think as you move through that space, that energy that you have, it's part of who you are. It's part of who Bucci is and the space that he takes up, and it's part of what makes you so irresistible in this room. You can feel your threads kind of flicking out, teasing other people, whether that's into putting their eyes on you or exciting them further so they spend more money. There's an intoxicating effect that you allow to kind of weave through the room as the camera pans over to Mirm.
So I will be playing. The full name is Tuatangaloa Sovai Afile Tui Manu Asina Te Patasti Tui Manga. But everybody calls him Afi, which is the Samoan word for fire, because he brings a lot of intense energy and also gets into a lot of fights. So there's a lot of aggression, which is super fun. He stands near the front door as one of the bouncers of the Blue Note. He thinks of everything that is about to go down, and not anxiously, but very methodically going through every possible scenario that could happen. Like, who's going to walk through that door? Who is going to tip off us to know where to go next and to fulfill our duty as agents of Fang. He stands at a meager 6'11", as all of his siblings back in Samoa are over 7 feet tall, so he has a little bit of an inferiority complex. But being around a lot of Europeans now, he knows that he kind of towers over people. But that sort of thought always lingers in the back of his head. He is also an entire bat. There are still giant bat megafauna in the South Pacific, which is where his family kind of descends from, and some of the names that he has given is from that. So he kind of stays to the corner and always makes sure that there's not a spotlight on him, so no one second guesses who this man is. Yeah.
When Fang set up this sting operation, they were aware of who they were getting. And there's absolutely a almost like 5 foot by 5 foot square where there's no lights right next to the door. There's a light coming inside, a little blue one that you can see when you go through the secret passageway and do the special knock that's in the hallway of the basement of this largely residential building. But when they come inside, that blue light isn't bright enough to pierce the veil of darkness that you hide behind. They can hear your voice as you let them in. There's a slot for you to look through, and they can see your bright and kind of burning eyes. But again, it could just be the trick of a light, right? The trick of the light, no big deal. People are willing to write off things that freak them out rather than examine what might actually be hiding there. And they come inside, and there's something about your presence. There's something about the feeling of who you are. Not only do you get these flashes of what could be and all of these iterations of what's to come, but you get a certain feeling in you that kind of takes you into a headspace that keeps you sharp and focused, that keeps you in order. And that sense of order is something that you seem to kind of waft through this room. This was always a potential powder keg. Any situation where there are Nazis doing anything at any time, it is a potential powder keg, no matter how you slice it. But so far, you've really only had to throw 2 or 3 people out in 4 months. People have been behaving themselves in here. And you know that while that doesn't belie the reality of what these monsters are doing outside of the club, it has made your job a whole hell of a lot easier. Sit, watch, observe. And one day it's the time for you to unleash all that you've got. With that anticipation inside of you, you hear a voice in your ear. Darling, are you scared? Are you upset? What is this I'm feeling?
Afi doesn't say anything, but just kind of straightens himself up more, brings his shoulders back, and looks at the door more intently.
You feel a hand on your shoulder, and it gives a soft squeeze, but firm. The hand is very large. You can smell beautiful floral perfume coming from this person and feel the very gentle kind of brush of stubble from their face against your cheek as she kisses you on the side of your face. She walks away, and you know that that is Sherry. Sherry is the person who is the manager of this nightclub. She was the manager before. She will hopefully still be the manager after, if all goes well. A trans woman in her late 40s. She is a dazzling person when things are good. But because of the time of war that you are all in now, things are still beautiful. She still looks fantastic, but her sparkling hostess dress has a couple of little holes in it that she hasn't quite been able to fix. The opera gloves that run up her arm, up to her elbow, those have a little dots of stains that she hasn't quite managed to get out without the proper detergents and the lines of, product that she uses to maintain the way that she wants to look so that she feels euphoric about her gender, unfortunately, are starting to dwindle, and everyone's just doing their best. But as she approaches you, you can feel her heartbeat kind of slow and become more neutral and normal. She knows tonight is the night as well, but around you, she feels a lot more comfortable. And I think as she kind of slinks away, the camera follows her over to you, Blackwell. Tell us who you are, what you're doing, and what you look like.
So what you see is a fairly tall gentleman. I would say like 6'4", 6'5", fairly built. Not like on the same stature of Alfie, but they have some form of muscle.
Mm-hmm.
They have a do-rag on, suited and booted. What would be a proper color during this time period? What colors would we would have access to? Because the way I see this suit, it's very bright. It's very gaudy looking, very hard to ignore. It's like you see it out of the corner of your eye. You see it in the back of your head. Like the moment you see it seared into your mind, and just this charming smile, this winning smile that catches everyone off guard as, yes, they are a bouncer. Aren't you supposed to be at the door? No. This is someone that will come up and start talking to you, someone who will share a drink with you. Tell them your story. Tell them where you're from, what you're doing. How's your day been? Oh, you look tired. Why don't you take a seat? As they're slowly gathering information about you. They want you to be comfortable. They want you to have a good time. You don't need to know who they are. Their name, however, is Alexander, or Al for short.
Alexander, you have just finished having a conversation with a very drunk officer. And he's slurring his words, and you can only kind of make out every other one. But he kind of nods like that, raises his head to look up at the ceiling, and looks at you and says, "Lots of breakthroughs happening. Lots. You're going to be so impressed. You might not understand what we have been doing up there, but it is very, very advanced, I must say." Bragging about whatever terror that they're working on. But he nods upward. This is a residential building. And yet he nods upwards.
I feel as though Alexander would, slide another drink to them and just say, "Really now?"
He looks at you.
I would like to know just tell me in a way that I would understand what is happening up there.
He looks at the drink and his eyes kind of cross a little bit. He's unsteady, but he picks it up anyway. After all of these interviews, there's come a time where you've realized that a lot of these people know what they're doing is wrong. They just are too sunken in to admit it and to make any kind of meaningful change. And this place is what absorbs that misery and that shame. And he knocks it back, the whole drink, the whole double, despite him being clearly on the edge of blackout. And before he succumbs to the alcohol, he looks at you and says, "Oh, the grand design. How we win the Übermensch." And passes out.
Grand design, how they win the Übermensch, as they're writing into a little notebook, closes it, put it in their pocket, hoists this man up, and just takes him where he usually takes all the usual drunk people, puts him on a table, puts him on a stool, something. It's just like, yeah, get some sleep. be your last one? And he says that part very quietly before finding the next person to charm, finding the next person to win over.
You do that. You put him on top of, this table in the back. There's another guy laying next to him. There's a section in the back next to the storeroom where you put all the wastrels, the people who can't stumble out by themselves. At the end of the night, you throw them in the hallway, they wake up and they go home. Tonight, you get the sense it's going to be a little different. As the camera moves over to our last vampire. Charm, where are you? What do you look like? And what are you doing here tonight?
Wow. At a table very close to the stage, with a single finger dipped into a deeply pitch-colored drink, deeply filled, she is sitting, swirling its contents. And this is someone who has simultaneously been avoiding as much conversation as possible tonight, but at the same time still seeking attention. There's no reason to sit up front if you don't want to be seen. And this is Dorothea Parker, known as Dottie by most who remember her voice from the radio. One time a rising star, now currently just away from the limelight on a little break for work, of course. You know, a job. Maybe not exactly the job anyone would expect, but it's still a job. She is currently clad a bit like a poisonous apple. She's draped in these lush reds and toxic greens and a too fine suit for the time. It's still repurposed, but for some reason it looks like expensive. Her legs uncross, under a very thin pencil skirt. Again, repurposed materials. And she awaits that call, whatever that's going to be, pretends not to hear the whispers of patrons who remember the voice that she once had, while balancing a cigarette between her fingers and hoping that it continues to burn her own throat out. And one cold, slow breath later, she rises from her chair, abandons the drink, and starts a slow, sauntering patrol around the room, pretending to take in the brick and stone and the scent, that delicious scent of the most tantalizing of things, a beautiful meal laced with corruption. All of these patrons who have questionable taste and questionable morals that are just so easy to follow at the end of a night.
You sit in that truth, enjoying your meal, right? Enjoying this feast of the senses that's going on around you. Eyes have definitely been on you. People don't know who you are because of the clientele, but everybody that's in on the operation was excited to have you, dazzled the first time you entered the room. That dazzling is still absolutely on the table as you look up at the band in front of you. The band leader smiles. Their full lips part. Their eyes twinkle. They sing even more sweetly because they have an audience of one. They look out and gesture to everyone. Their movements are fluid and graceful. They're not a vampire. They're something else. But no one would ever know. No one would ever recognize that they are different, just like no one is recognizing that all of you are different. You're hiding in plain sight because you are with people that are too foolish and too self-absorbed to actually take in the individuals that are serving them, that are giving them time. And as the lead singer kind of winks at you, you hear the very kind of energetic and exciting and experimental jazz tones turn into something much closer and more akin to a funereal dirge. Somber notes are hit, and the smoke in the room starts to plume as you can see the energy waves kind of coming off of this band. Some of these are vampires, and they're using their skills to weave an energy that will hopefully give you the most bang for your buck in what's about to happen. The lead singer breaks open with Strange Fruit, originally popularized by Billie Holiday, and it's singing out to all of these people the wistful and excited and energetic red faces of these officers that haven't yet succumbed to drink starts to fall, starts to pale, looking around, hearing the lyrics, understanding finally that they are in very mixed company and always have been, realizing in this moment that somehow they've become a minority in this room. And as the final notes of the song begin to crescendo and close, you see one of the vampires, the one on drums, foam at the mouth, teeth gnashing, face snarling as the hunger takes over. He launches himself over the drum kit, and we begin. So, everyone, your objective right now is to get out of this fray and up your blood. Each of you is going to start with, I'll say 1 blood just because you had to work tonight. So you should have 1 blood filled in on your character sheet. If you have an item in front of you like extra dice or gummy worms, or I have some poker chips, you can use those to keep track of how many blood you have and just remove them as you use them. Blood is kind of a meta currency in this game that you can use and you can spend to do awesome stuff. Right now, you're trying to get as much blood as you can. This is going to be kind of a free-for-all. Each of you is going to tell me exactly what you do to get the blood that you need from the people in this room. You're not going to be fought back. I'm not going to be rolling. You are just going to illustrate this scene. Much of this game is very illustrative. We're going to get into a situation. I'll tell you what the objective is, and I'll tell you any bad guys that are in the room and what their threat levels are. You will deconstruct. You will roll to assign your dice to deconstruct all of those things, and we will slowly kind of hack at that number until the threat is 0 and the objective is 0. Now, if the objective is 0 before the threat is 0, we'll just move on to the next room. You don't actually have to neutralize every single bad guy, but recognize that reinforcements could be called, so you could get to another room and have more people show up after, depending on what kind of time we're working with. So right out of the gate, let's start with whoever has an idea of what they want to do first. Is anybody already planning? Yes, please, Mirm. What do you do first? You're over by the door.
Yeah.
No one has knocked in some time, but the moment before Strange Fruit begins, you do hear someone go by and whisper, "Countdown begins now," and close the window for you.
Mm-hmm. So my character is very community based and very much like everybody needs to be handled first.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to a table of Nazis who are not facing. Look to my I'll say my friends. Y'all are my friends. And I will say in Samoan it is Fia Ingu, which means have you drank? And I will take my claws and slice the throats of the 2 Nazis in front of me to give as gifts to my friends who I'm working with tonight.
Outstanding. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and roll your brawl for me, please? That is kill Nazis up close. So what you're going to do is whatever number you have in brawl, you are going to take that many dice to make your dice pool. And then anything else that you have on your sheet that you can add to that, go ahead.
Yeah. I would like to add my steel gouging claws, obviously.
Perfect. Yep.
So that adds another D6.
Okay. Is there a condition next to it in the parentheses with the pluses?
It says plus ambush.
Plus ambush. Okay. This is definitely an ambush. You're walking up to people who can't see you, so add another die for that.
Sweet. And then I have an ability called Ravenous, and so when I'm in melee combat, I gain 3 blood. So did I just gain 3 blood at the beginning of this?
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
Mark those in. Perfect.
So I really don't even need this blood. It's for everybody else. I'm good for we now, everyone. Are you?
Okay, so how many 4, 5, and 6 did you get?
I got 2 6s and a 5.
2 6s and a 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already beaten the objective. To give you an understanding, you've already torn through the objective because there's no threats in this room. If you want to. But what you can do here with your success, you can advance the objective, which, like I said, the objective is only 3. It's very low pressure, right? Low stakes here. You can eliminate a threat, which we don't have in this room. You can defend yourself against attacks, which these guys are all drunk. I'm not going to be attacking you. You can feed on Nazi blood, or you can activate your special. So it sounds like you're advancing the objective and feeding on Nazi blood. Did you want to allocate one of the 6s? The 6s count as 2 successes. So right now you're working with 5 successes.
Oh,
yeah.
If possible, I would love to just like clear the room for us so that we can comfortably move on without any of my comrades do anything right away.
So what we'll say is you put one of the 6s and your you said a 4, right? Or a 5?
A 5.
Okay, so you put one of the 6s and one of the 5s to the objective. So the objective is done. The rest of you can still take your turn in this room to make sure you can get as much blood as you want. And for you, your those 2 successes, take 2 additional blood on top of that is how you'll spend that one.
And then it's my turn.
Okay, so all of you hear Afi's big booming voice wish you good, like a good slay, a good battle, as he opens up the throats of these people. Afi uses he, him, or he, they?
He, him.
Perfect. As he opens up the throats of these Nazis, you can hear them screaming loudly in German expletives until, of course, the blood rises up in their throats and bubbles and gurgles start to displace the words that were originally there upon their lips. All of you can smell this blood. Each person tastes a little bit different, and you find that when it's willing and the person is sweet and the person is giving, it tastes delicious. But when it's somebody that is in poor taste, it is not an unpleasant experience. You're still getting fed, but they're not nearly as delicious as people who are kind and are offering freely the blood that you need to survive. Right now, the smell that's in the air is almost like chemical. It smells like a mixture of gasoline and rusty nails, as it just kind of fonts forth from these wounds. Each of you catches one of them, and as you feed, you can take 1 free blood that your homie has given you. And then who's next on the docket? There are still the drunk guys in the back. There are still probably 5 or so officers now. They're drawing their weapons. They're terrified. One guy has definitely pissed himself. They are freaking out. There's pandemonium in here, and the door is closed, and in front of that door is a giant bat. So no one's going anywhere. Blackwell, please.
I feel like at this moment of time, Alexander, as they're seeing all this go down, they see one of the officers drawing their weapons, and they immediately are like there, right by them, their hand on their weapon, saying, "Shh, it's all a dream, friend. It's all a dream. Relax. Take your time. Let's just settle down." As their teeth become elongated, and next thing you know, right on the side of their neck, drawing the blood from them, bringing them down to the ground.
Perfect. Go ahead and make your dice pool. I'm going to have you roll the exact same thing because you're tearing it up as a vampire. But go ahead and do you have anything else you want to add to this attack?
I don't think there's anything else I don't have any ability that would make sense at the moment.
Okay, that's fair. Go ahead and roll your dice.
Okay. I got 2 5s.
2 5s. Excellent. So that's going to be 2 points that you can put into blood drinking. So please mark 2 blood. You are able to successfully take this person in. There's something about you that makes people feel comfortable. There's like a sexual energy and a sexual comfort that they get from like being in Bucci's space. But from being in your space, there's almost like a camaraderie that you inspire in these guys. They look at you and they see a black person, but something in their mind, their hubris tells them that they can still inherently trust you because they're so on top. And in this moment, you're able to prey upon those weaknesses. What do you say to this person as you finish this job, knowing what you know about him?
As he watches them slowly fade away, they just put a hand on their shoulder and say, "You were an experience, a terrible experience. Let the darkness take you forever.
You hear him gurgle and try to reply as his hand falls from your shoulder, limp and lifeless. Next.
And
No, please.
I feel like they would stand up and look at the next row of officers who are now still reaching for their guns. And there's just this smile with blood dripping out from their fangs. And they're just like, all right, who wants to go to sleep next?
You hear the kind of squeal of the upright bass as the vampires that have glutted themselves on a couple of the other members in this room are starting to kind of take back up their weapons, and a song starts to play. It's frenetic and fast. It is unlike most of the jazz at this time. It feels light years ahead of its time, and it narrates every action that all of you are taking in this room. Who's next? Okay, go ahead.
You're muted.
You're muted, Dottie.
Okay.
There you
nailed
go.
It. Yep.
Mhm.
Great. Mute. Ew. So anyway, very calmly, so much is happening, but Dorothea remains calm and silent. She takes another drag of that cigarette, and she finds the nearest person, the nearest human who is just screaming, the loudest person in the room. And she walks up to them very calmly and slowly takes her hand off that cigarette, looks them right in the eyes, and reaches out with lightning fast reflexes and grabs them by the throat and slams them into the table nearest to them, flat on their back. And as they hit that table and their mouth opens to make that grunt or that scream as they realize that they've been grabbed, she spits her cigarette back into their mouth, into the back of their throat, and essentially just rips their throat out with her hand. She pulls that trachea straight out and just takes a nice drink. And then politely puts them back.
Excellent. Do you have anything that you would like to add to your brawl roll?
I actually would like to add, quote, this equipment item, which is so timely because I did not realize it was here, is cigarettes taken from the pockets of a hanged man.
Delicious. Do it.
Okay. Amazing.
Add your extra die.
Gorgeous. Even better because my brawl is quite low. The physical die. Let's go.
What I will say in this moment and in future moments, if there is another stat that you would rather roll and you can make an argument for that, I am a very, very sympathetic GM.
Understood. Gorgeous. So I'm going to keep that one. And I'm going to go with, I have a 4, a 5, and a 2 on my dice here.
That's 2 successes. Outstanding. So you spit that cigarette into the back of this man's throat, and you watch as he starts to register what's going on. He's hammered. So everything is on a time delay for him. Even when you slammed him against the table, there's an element of surprise across his face and maybe even pleasure, like he likes getting roughed up. But when that cigarette starts to burn and he can't get up and he feels your fingers sink into the soft flesh of his throat, that's when it starts to dawn on him. You see him slowly come to, and you savor that moment as you feel the rubberiness of that trachea behind your fingertips as you tear and relieve it from its resting place. As you look up after taking a drink, the blood running down your face, your fangs bared, your eyes wild, you've never been more beautiful or more terrifying as when you feed. And you take out another guy right behind it with just the looks alone.
Amazing. I'm going to take that person's pocket square and just dab away a little bit of the excess. Not all of it. Some of it's for looks. It has to stay, of course.
Of course.
We can't have it get too drippy. Not this early.
No, you got to look good. You are able to kind of dab your lips, and I think you throw a look over to see what Bucci is up to. What's our boy doing?
I think Bucci is, when the camera pans to him, is very intimately close to this guy that he is speaking to. And his hand is just kind of tracing the outline of this guy's pants, the top of it, just very playfully. And he's going to smile and lean into his ear, and he goes, after. And he's going to tap his cheek twice. Standing at the bar, I'm going to assume that there is one particularly kind of hammered Nazi that has been sitting down, and he's going to walk behind the bar. And behind there is this very ornate, kind of jade green sword case. It's a katana case.
Okay.
And what I would like for Bucci to do is he's smiling and is engaging with the guy who's sitting at the bar, this piece of Nazi shit. And he is doing and kind of almost pantomiming what a bartender would do, kind of those motions as he is reaching for the katana. And I want him to turn and he's going to look at the gentleman that he was just talking to. And I want to use sneak for this.
Okay.
And with one clean motion, I want him to swipe the katana without looking at this guy to decapitate him.
Excellent.
And
Please.
I'm going to say when his neck goes down, the blood and the arteries, you can kind of see a lot of viscera pumping. And as it begins to go and pool over the bar and drift, Bucci's going to grab some ice and he puts it into a cup. And you see him grab a second cup and he gets a little bit of that. He's going to throw a little bit of that reserve scotch that has been aged into that. And he's still not going to go back to his boy toy, but he will slide that drink across the bar and he's going to wink at homie and take a sip of his own.
Okay. Please go ahead and roll. Do you have anything you want to add to your roll?
So I have enormous knife, which I think we talked about just flavoring as the katana, because I feel like that's like the same thing. I will say I am we talked in pre-production about the mechanics gaze and the vibe gaze, and I certainly fall into the latter. Yeah. So next to an enormous knife, there are 4 boxes. I don't know what that means I would get to add to this roll.
Those boxes are your uses. So basically when you're going, so the idea is you're going so hard on these weapons that eventually they're going to break. You have super strength and you are going to go so hard that your shit's going to break. So you have 4 uses of your katana before it breaks. When it's your last use of whatever it is, it breaks so good that it does extra. It gives you an extra die to your die pool because it's like you're going that hard. So basically what you're going to do is you are going to, what number do you have in your sneak?
3.
3. Okay. So you're going to pick up 3 dice. You're going to add 1 die for your katana. And then is there a condition? That's going to be in the parentheses next to the boxes. It'll say plus or plus plus or however many pluses and then a word.
Yeah. For the enormous knife, it is never saw you coming.
Okay, so add another die because he definitely didn't see you coming. This guy is sitting at the bar, and he's been sitting at the bar since 6 o'clock tonight. It is now about midnight. He has been drinking for 6 full hours, and it shows. He has not moved, save to go to the bathroom a handful of times. He is so drunk that he has not looked up at the chaos behind him. He is facing the bar and just kind of staring off into space, dozing sometimes, waking himself up with a start, a snore, and then going back to sleep, drinking his drink. Waves of that for hours and hours. And right now he can hear that something's going on, but can't seem to muster the strength to turn around. The apathy just oozing out of him. It's disgusting and repugnant to you. You can feel it kind of trying to touch you and biting back those tendrils of sexuality and beauty that you are radiating in this space. And almost as if it is an affront to you, you slice quick and hard without mercy. What did you get?
All right, let's roll. Okay, so I got a 6, a 5, a 4, a 1, and a 2.
All right, so that's 6, 5, and 4. Those are all successes. The 5 and the 4, that's 1 success each. And then the 6 is 2. So you can mark 4 blood if you'd like to as you make this delicious drink. The gentleman that you've been talking to all night smiles at you. You see little fangs poke out. He has not been a vampire for nearly as long as you have. He doesn't see him as confident, but he takes kind of a little sip and in a very big kind of reversal. Usually he's very strapping, very manly, very bossy. He is absolutely the type of guy that these officers would never want to fuck with. And he has earned that respect. And in this moment, you see a little bit of that soften as he is playful and sweet and shy and takes a sip, enjoying it a lot more than expected and winding up tipping it all over himself.
Mm. Can we flavor this man as Michael B. Jordan just for personal reasons?
Absolutely.
Just for okay.
Amen.
Amen.
He gets some in his mustache. He comes over and kisses you. It tastes surprisingly sweet off of his lips, but you still can smell that kind of sulfur kind of burning in the background.
I know the goal is to kill somebody else, but I feel like we just won.
You know.
That's all I needed. I'm good now.
So as you all have wiped these people out, you see Cherry kind of kick one of these Nazis that are already dead in the head a couple of times with her glittery shoe. One of the heels has been broken and mended over and over again, and she is sobbing as she takes out her rage on this person that has been oppressing her in her own city for years. She kind of dives through that open window in the back. You can see her going through, and she pulls some of the other people to safety as well. As the rest of you look at that door, you open it up and you head into the hallway, and you can see there's big kind of glass windows. This was a relatively nice place to live once upon a time and has since become almost a slum from the outside. It looks run down and dirty. No one has kept it up because the people who live there that normally would aren't really allowed to do so. And as you launch into this room, there's a flashbang that goes off. The front of the windows burst open. You can hear the sound of shattering glass and feel some of it at your feet. Inside, the elevators have been busted to pieces. The cars in each elevator are crumpled like somebody had thrown something like a bomb or a grenade inside of them. There's concrete poured down the sides of the walls so that even if you tried to fix it, it wouldn't work. That kind of handiwork looks like it happened long before any of you got here. It's not the product of this attack that you're feeling now. And as that flashbang kind of throws all of you up into the doorway of the stairwell, you see a sign spray painted on the inside of this concrete stairwell. It says 1 through 6 residents. Keep going. Like someone has painted it in blood. And as you make your way up the first set of stairs, you can see there's a door that has been barred. It's like a big metal, like a heavy metal door that doesn't look like it belongs in this building at all. It very much looks like someone has made this and placed it here. It locks from the outside, not the inside. And there's a window in it. And you see a tiny face. Big giant glasses making the eyes behind it, the aged eyes behind it, look huge. A little babushka tied around this woman's face as she kind of peers up. What are you doing? She adjusts her glasses a little bit. She's blinking a lot. All of you are covered in blood. Afi, you are in fact a bat. This old lady is like confused. She's looking at all of you like.
Dorothea nods and shrugs and has no words in this moment. It's like the first time she's like a little bit of a mess.
I feel like
you here with them? With the Nazis? Are you here with them?
She shakes her head very, very quickly.
Oh, okay. All right.
Can I use an ability?
Yeah.
I have an ability called Memory Rot, where I can spend 1 blood to remove or implant memories from someone that I lock eyes with.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that Bucci smiles very warmly at this woman. His like ability to be near chameleon-like and code switch in this moment. Mm-hmm. And he's going to go over very apologetic. I am so sorry for the noise, ma'am. The band is playing a little bit louder than usual tonight. There's a big celebration that's happening.
I want an explosion?
Oh, no. And then
you safe, my son?
So safe. And he's going to lock eyes with her and smile at that. And I want to rip from her prefrontal cortex the horror that is behind him and the blood that he is covered in. Mm-hmm. And I want this to look like a Nazi birthday party behind us. So it's just, there's a happy birthday in German. So it just looks like it is a little bit more rowdy because of that. And then what I want to have is confetti that is on the ground, and he goes, "Yeah, so sorry. That was one of the party poppers. Likely was that loud noise. It will almost be done relatively soon, and I'm so
Okay.
sorry for the inconvenience."
Oh, that's okay, my son. Thank you so much for the vote of confidence and peace. We heard all of the screaming, and we were very concerned up here. And she kind of looks to one side, and you can see there's like a hallway full of people that are all kind of looking with like freaked out faces. And she says to you, "We hear all kinds of things in here. All kinds of things. We hear screaming, we hear upstairs, we hear downstairs, we hear in the stairwell. The stairwell is only open certain times of day. We don't go out all the time in our native Paris, even though I have grown up here since I was just a little girl." And so she's like talking to you in this very kind of broken English mixed with some French words, as she's trying to move through this conversation with you. She's talking to you like you were her grandson. And as she finally wraps up her story, what you're able to glean is that, in fact, this sign that you see is right. This was once a residential building. But beyond floor 6, at floor 6, things get a little different. The people here are allowed to use the stairwell to get in and out of their apartment during the day, from like 6 a.m. to like 6 p.m. They can move around. There's like a 2-hour window between 6 and 8 where you have to have like a working pass. And then after that, you can't leave or come in. And if you're out, you're out. And if you're in, and that's it. And so she's kind of there, like, wondering if she has to worry. And as you make this image kind of appear in her mind, there's no joy that really replaces it. These Nazis are having a birthday party. Her grandchildren haven't had a birthday party in 2 years. There is a level of understanding. And you can see the look in her eyes shows the rest of you, because she kind of looks at each of you in turn. And your power doesn't just work on her, right? You got some pretty sick skills and some good rolls. The power works on the hallway. And it also works on you all. You all know what's going on and you're present. But in the eyes of this woman, Afi, you are a big, beautiful, powerful Samoan man that's wearing a really nice suit. You don't have blood on you. You look like you're going somewhere fancy. Like Alexander, your very brightly colored suit is exactly the same way it is, just with no gore on it, right? Your face is smiling. And same thing with you, Dorothea. She looks at you and sees a starlet. And she kind of nods as all of this is washing over her, the sense of calm and the sense of feeling okay. And something kind of pings in the back of your mind. It's clearly pings in the back of hers as well, Bucci. You don't know if it's because she's older and has seen so much, but there's something in this little old lady that knows that this isn't exactly it. And she looks at you, confused for a second before shaking it off and then looking resolute. And she makes eye contact with each of you and says, "Be safe. Be blessed in your everything."
Thank you, ma'am. He is going to kind of walk over to the window and very warmly and kindly, he goes, "I would be optimistic about maybe some changes coming to this space soon."
She takes a gulp of air at that. All of you can see her face gets pale for a second. Her eyes widen behind her glasses, made even larger in the bifocals. Before it breaks into a smile, she nods and waves and walks back over to her apartment. The hallway just slowly starts to kind of dissipate back into their rooms. And you can hear the soft click of the doors as everyone kind of goes about their business. But all of you are vampires. You have skills of heightened senses. You can hear the murmur of these people and the whispers of hope they're getting. And you hear it travel up the stairs quicker than you're even making your way up there. People are passing notes through ceilings and through hidden passageways to communicate with one another. That relief potentially has gotten here. Brace yourselves. And you keep heading up the stairs. As you get to the 6th floor, you can see bloodstains all over this area. On the outside. Like perhaps someone has tried to get in that needed to get in and was taken care of out here because they didn't kowtow to the ruling class. There's a shitty guard behind this door taking a snooze. You can see him in his chair as you kind of peek over to one side. You can see through that door. There's a door on the other side. It looks open. And there are people kind of walking in and out of it like it's an additional stairwell set up on the opposite side of the building. Your objective is to get to the next floor. You're at floor 6. What do you want to do to get in?
If I may,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Al would go up to the sleeping guard.
Mhm.
Is it like he's sitting at a chair and there's a desk?
He's on the inside of the door, but he can see you through the window.
I wonder, what kind of door is it?
It is a heavy metal door, just like was on the other one, except this one looks like it locks from the inside rather than outside.
Do we know clear cut who this person is affiliated with?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely a Nazi. He's wearing an SS uniform. He doesn't have nearly as many medals as the average person that you've seen walking around, marching around the city on your nights off. But he's absolutely a Nazi soldier.
Cool. What is the probability of me being able to, because I have this thing called Great Spear. What's the probability of me using that to put it into that, you know how doors have a slit? And basically wrenching this thing open.
Excellent. Roll me for it, please. What would you like to use? Do you want to use your brawl?
Can we say terrify? Because let's imagine you're a guard at a door. You know, this is a place that you've been inhabiting for X amount of time. Nothing like this happens. And suddenly you hear this grinding of metal just crunching in on itself, sliding across the floor. You get up and you just see someone in this bright, colorful suit smiling at you, like teeth just sharpened, claws onto this spear that is just made of blood and vigor. I don't feel like it's brawl. I feel like that's terrifying.
Hell yeah. Roll me that terrify and make sure you add a die for your spear, please.
Okay. Let's see what this. Okay, we go get that. I got 3 5s, a 6, and a 1.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So right now, what you're working with is you have an objective with a rating of 6. Are you going to this person has a threat level. He's asleep, so his threat level is 0. If you stab him, I'm just going to take that guy out of the way instead of trying to work out the math for that, because you get him. Like he is completely unaware. So if you want to spend, that was 3 successes and 1 crit, right? 1 6.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're going to spend one of your successes on taking this guy out, you can allocate the other successes to the objective, or you can just use it to wrench the door off its hinges.
What I want to do is wrench the door off its hinges.
Okay.
As soon as it's fully open, I want to move up to this guy. I want to get to eye level with them. I want to place a hand on their shoulder and just look at them and say, do me a favor, run. It's more exciting for us.
Excellent. You are able to kind of open that little door, that little kind of peephole. It's almost like where you deposit letters. And because he's sitting down, you get him good with your spear right in the arm. It goes through his upper shoulder and into his collarbone, and it's like launched there, right? It's like stuck there. And there's just enough room for you to put your arm inside and kind of unlock it and open it up. And as all of you kind of pour into this room, you can see that there are actually a group of army officers in this room that are, some of them are at like a war table that has like a map of Paris on it. They're doing strategizing. Some of them are just kind of hanging out, smoking a cigarette, like around the water cooler kind of vibe. And then this man in front of you is there. There's also a guy that seems to be getting some kind of treatment. It looks like he's hooked up to some like blood transfusion kind of materials, who's kind of sitting in the corner that looks very pale and sickly up at you as he sees you come in. You move forward and you say run, and the guard looks at you in panic. He gets up and tries to move, but the little vestibule of this room that you're in is very tight. And as he turns, it hits the side of that spear right on the wall and goes deeper inside. You see it as it pierces his heart, and he stumbles at your feet and starts to crawl away instead.
I think as that happens, he's Al's just like shaking his head saying, oh, that is just so pathetic. Pulls out a frag grenade, looks at to the rest of the people in the room. I think this got about 6 seconds before, it goes off and just kind of lobs it. Like just an
Excellent.
underhand lob, and as it just bounces.
Okay, so we're going to take the 6 that you rolled, and we're going to put that towards the objective, so that knocks us down to a 4. Then we're going to take the other 2 successes and put those on top of that. So we have 2 left in our objective. The Nazi soldiers, actually, you know what? Let me ask you, did you want to do all 4 in objective, or did you want to do 1 point or 2 points toward the threat of the soldiers?
Let's do 1 point towards the objective, like
Okay.
towards the soldiers.
Cool. All right. So that means that your objective, you only have 3 more, and the soldiers, you have 3 more as well to take out for the next person's turn. You see these soldiers, the frag grenade goes off, and you definitely get a couple of them with it. Some of them are hiding behind the ones that were planning, like the war planning. They kind of tipped the table over and hid behind it and took cover, but the guys by the water cooler, toast. They're absolutely done. You see body parts go flying everywhere as the smoke starts to clear. The guy that was previously sat down getting the transfusions stands up and kind of looks around wildly and disappears into a room right next to him on the other side of that vestibule wall, as you see the other ones, the other officers that have posted up behind this board, this impromptu table, are drawing their pistols and are trying to fire off shots at all of you. Okay. Next person. So I'm going to let you know, I do have threat dice. I did not have this as a thing when Alexander was going, because he had surprise, like you guys had the drop on these shitheads. But I do have attack dice. So you can take away my attack dice if you'd like to spend points on that. So right now, if you need blood, you can spend your successes on blood. If you would like to spend it on the objective, getting to the next floor, you can do that. You only need 3 more for that. You need 3 more for the Nazi soldiers. And then there's somebody doing something in that other room that we're not going to talk about yet. Who is going next?
I have an idea.
Yeah?
I have an ability called Death Burst.
Okay.
Which is curse a Nazi within arm's reach. And so he would have to kind of like close the distance. And when you curse the Nazi this way, they explode when they die. And so I am wondering if if I could use kind of like the katana as an extension of that, if touching them with the katana would work. So what I would like to do is, I think that in a very short amount of time, Bucci makes a calculus, and all Nazis are kind of like garbage to him, but like one of his least favorite flavors of Nazis is like a scheming Nazi. And so I think there'd be like a potential kind of like anger or target towards the ones that were surrounding the map table. So I would love, we see Bucci run. He hits, there's not that much space, but I'm going to say he hits a little bit. He gives himself some speed. I would love for him, in my mind, he hits almost like an anime-esque pirouette in the air with the katana, right? And I'd love for him to bring that down, slicing from jugular down into the chest on one of these Nazis.
Okay.
And then I'd love for him, when it is inside the Nazi, to twist the hilt of the katana to cause the explosion, to make these Nazis explode. Well, the center one, to make it explode.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll for me, please.
All right.
You can add your bonus for your katana. Mark off another use of it.
Okay. I'm like using my anxiety meds to mark my blood right now.
That's a vibe.
So let me see. Let me look at my okay. And so I'm spending 1 blood on the ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get to add a dice. I am going to say this is likely. I'm going to say this is probably Brawl. That would make the most sense to roll.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what we got. I got 2 5s and a 6.
Ooh.
Yes, let's go.
Nicely done. Okay, so your 6 is worth 2. Your 2 5s are also worth 2. That's 4 points to play with. How would you like to spend those? Do you want to? I know that you want to spend at least 1 on the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's 1. So then you have 3 more. Where would you like to allocate those? You can put all of them in the Nazis. You can put some of them on me and my my own dice. You could spend 1 to take away my attack dice.
I think that there is, and at this point we're just kind of like soaked in blood. Bushi is like, and he is kind of relatively like less clad, so he's like covered his skin and blood. And I think he looks up and gives this like menacing smile to one of the Nazis holding the katanas. And I'm going to say he does this. He makes this smile before twisting the hilt in the hilt in the explosion. And I'd love for him to intimidate. We use one of those successes to intimidate a dice out of one of the enemies. And then is there anything I could do to like hype up the other 2 to like give them some kind of advantage or like kind of set them up to like do something sick?
Okay. Are you using your critical for the attack dice or a single success?
I would like to use a single success for the Nazi explosion, and I want to use the critical for the threat reduction move.
Got it. Okay, so that's going to take 2 dice away from me. You're going to put 1 more die on top of the threats for the Nazis, and then you said your last 1 you want to allocate to setting somebody else up.
Yeah, whomever goes next, and whatever you do, we could like the person who does it, we can figure out something that I would do to like help you out or like set you up.
Okay. I rolled. Let's see. I got 2 critical successes. Oh my goodness. What does that mean? 1 moment. Sorry. Roll for a category. And you mark an injury is what you do. So, hold on. Let me find this here in the game. Sorry, guys. We're all learning how to play this game together. Let's see. So we're going to go down to page 30.
A party that plays together stays together.
That part. Current attack rating of the threat. Okay, so 4 dice. Oh, so only 1 of those counts, actually. Okay. So I only got 1 success, which is 1 damage. So yeah, please roll me a d6. Or if you want to choose which area you are hurt, you can. That's kind of how injuries work in this game. You can you roll a d6 and then you tick off the first box in the relevant category. So like on your character sheet, you should be able to see an area that has injuries. So depending on what you get, you can mark that off. And to heal, there is a way that you can heal with your blood. You can heal an injury by spending 3 blood at any time. Once you take 1 injury, you have whatever that is. You can see the top row is, spirits cowed, sigils marred, whatever effect it has for your character. The actual mechanical, the mechanical consequence injuries happen after you've marked the first box. When you're marking the second box, that's when it starts to kind of affect your rolls.
So in his pocket, a lot of the source of the more kind of magical, and that's with a K, abilities that we have seen Bucci use, he has a very, very small grimoire, which is something that had been passed down. And I'm going to say that there is like an ancestral kind of importance of this to him. And in the course of the explosion, It isn't completely obliterated, but it is destroyed enough to where it would be very, very difficult for him to use. So it looks like the second, if I got an injury in this space again, I would not be able to spend blood to use abilities. In my mind, flavorfully, I'm going to say that he remembers enough of this. He's got enough of this kind of like juju to be able to pull it off. But he, I think in the adrenaline of the moment, doesn't really have time to unpack the kind of like ramifications or to mourn the loss of this deeply personal item. But yeah, we see him kind of use the jacket he's wearing to pat out the flames. And I think we would see him look down and look back up with a look of like devastation. He's going to take his katana out of the what is remained of the like exploded Nazi, or like the torso chunk. I'm going to say that like the parts around him like exploded out and etc. But he's going to like snap it out of the torso, and he's going to kick the torso. He gives it like a full leg back, like kick on that, and he's gonna like get the Nazi blood off of it before he puts it back in the hilt.
Okay, so the rest of you all see this go down. As you're making your move, whoever is next, if you want, you have an extra die that you can use because of the setup that Bucci has given you.
I'm thinking of how I would want to use that, because my idea was a little different. You know what? Let's all workshop this together. How about that? How about I express some things and we'll make it happen. How about that? So Dorothea, watching all of this extreme violence and quietly smiling to themselves, will take a few steps forward, you know, pat the guard that is currently crawling away with the spear in them, you know, gently on the shoulder, give them a reassuring, you'll be okay. You'll be dead soon, kind of smile. And move on to that water fountain you mentioned very much earlier, where there was like one individual kind of standing there. And I think she is going to grab them, take a drink from the cup that they are currently using. Just grab their hand and drink from that cup herself. Take the cup away, put it off to the side, grab them by the hand and walk them towards the door where horrors are potentially happening behind. And she rifles through her pockets for a second, opens her jacket, takes a few moments, and then eventually pulls out a very small card, like almost a business card, but it's mostly blank, except on one side it has what looks to be a crayon and colored penciled children's drawing, and slides it into their hand and puts them directly in front of that door, turns them around and face out towards us, and holds up a hand to tell them to wait. Doesn't use her words. Takes a few steps back. The card is actually going to be her explosive runes ability / object.
Yes.
And there's a little tiny note at the bottom of the card that just says hope, essentially. This is for them. This is for the kids whose lives get ruined by these sorts of people. And she will calmly wait until the explosion goes off.
Go ahead and roll for me, please.
You got it. I would like to use something that's not brawl, but none of these quite fit. They're a little weird. So I'm thinking like either fix or a terrify out of confusion of just like what is happening.
I'd say terrify is perfect.
You could intimidate him, like scare him into compliance.
Because I'm going to say this right now, right? You hand him this card, and he feels the coolness of the glass. Like behind him, you can see through that window that person that was hooked up to those machines and stuff. This person's barely older than a kid. He's still here. He signed on for this. He is not an innocent. There is hatred in his eyes, but like there's also fear, and you can see him cowering in the corner. He's been cut off from the materials that were being pumped into him. Right, closing the door, all the wires are kind of crunched. in there, and whatever was draining into his body is no longer doing that. And you're seeing him, as well as the oxygen mask, you're seeing him slowly suffocate as he can't really exist on his own. You're not sure what you're looking at or why this is happening, but you can see him just slowly fading away over your shoulder as another man next to him is like screaming and looking and trying to like pull the cords and is looking around, a scientist, trying to take his pulse, and is kind of looking up at you with nothing but fear in his eyes. There is a very distinct sense that this man knows that what he has wrought is now being given to him. He has sown this in his life, and he looks at you with kind of a resignation in his eyes as he hears the word on the lips of the man that you're staring at. Hoffen. In German, the word hope. He reads it out loud. Hoffen? And he looks up at you, confused. What did you roll?
I rolled 4, a 5, a 1, and a 6.
4, a 5, and a 6. Okay, so we're dealing with a critical and 2 successes. I imagine one of these is going to be allocated to these Nazis, or 2?
I'm going to allocate 2 to these people.
Okay, you look at this man, and he repeats it over and over again. And just as he finally makes that connection, he looks at the children's drawing. He looks at how simple it is. For a second, it reminds him of his own child. And he looks again, and he says it differently this time, with resignation and with understanding, true understanding. Hoffen. Yeah. He closes his eyes and touches it to his chest. And as you turn away, it explodes. You can hear the sound of this explosion ringing out. It doesn't sound as hard on your ears as like a grenade launched would, right? Or something that is more man-made. This is something that's metaphysical. And there is a tinkling of bells, almost as if the astral plane was going, a debt has been paid. Very much like a jingle, like a high-pitched jingle that usually happens when comeuppance has been laid and justice has been received by you. What does it look like? What magical ephemera do people see when this magical rune goes off?
I like to believe that the sound component, as well as this jingling chime, is laughter.
Mm-hmm.
It's joy. It's that feeling of freedom. It's less visual and more emotional. It's a bit of a wave that flows outward that makes people feel like truly there is some sort of hope, there's some sort of dream, there's goals, there's love, and it will be all okay. And I think if there is even a remote visual component, it is that these little drawings take shape, like little poorly drawn animals, a little poorly drawn house that's just a square and a triangle, poorly drawn trees burst from the ground a little bit, just small, and then fade away, just as a reminder of some of who we're fighting for.
As those illustrations dissipate, it almost looks like someone has like made like plumes of, if you've ever seen holly powder during different Indian holidays and South Asian holidays, that very colorful powder that people use for ceremonial purposes. It almost looks like that, like this powdery kind of substance that's plumes of which are in the air, little bits of sparkle as well as magic, as it starts to kind of spin through the air in this room. Each of you takes in a breath, and you feel it enter your bodies, and that joy, that freedom, that feeling of shrugging off the yoke of oppression, that is inside of each of you. Everybody gains 2 blood.
Sick.
Let's fucking go.
Afi, you are in this room and you see your companions laying waste, right? They are killing it in here. All of these men are dead, but you still see that you need to get out of this room. That door that was once open, somebody ran through it just as the shit hit the fan and closed it behind them. It is big and it is metal, but you are bigger. What would you like to roll?
So in seeing all of my comrades like do all of their things, there is some tears coming out of Afi's eyes, just because like, oh, this is what everyone can do, and like we're
Mhm.
all together. This is awesome. But I would actually like to use my ooze form, if you'll allow. Just for me to get
Yes.
through.
Man, let's
I don't.
go.
I'm saving it. Everyone else got some
Please.
Nazi stuff. I got Nazi stuff on the first floor.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna save some of my energy and the sharpness of my claws
Cool. Okay.
for a little bit. So
you're gonna try to ooze under the door so you can open it from the other side?
yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for me. Whatever you want to use is fine.
Yeah. That spends one of the blood that was so graciously given to me. And then I'm gonna roll sneak.
Okay. Add the extra die from the setup that you had before, because Charm, I don't think that you used that, right? Dottie didn't use the
No, yeah.
die?
Okay.
Yeah, please use that setup. Please do.
Awesome.
It was so good.
It was.
Candace, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can I have retroactively used a piece of equipment I have? It's called Mother Millicent's Stolen Soul Jar.
Ooh.
And I want to take the soul of the Nazi that Dottie just murdered.
Absolutely you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when those little illustrations were kind of springing to life, you were able to kneel next to this person as he slowly slumped down off of the side of this wall, like this door, and then to the ground. And you saw like a little smoky gray plume leave his mouth. Usually when you use this on someone who is, unjustly killed, or someone who's you're trying to take them back to their family, or someone who is maybe even just a petty criminal, the energy shows in different colors. This is the first time you've seen one this dark and this tar-like. And it floats into your glass and just sighs in there. There's no excitement. There's no life. There's not even a will to fight. It's just like, for lack of a better term, a wet fart of a soul.
Got it. I'm going to close the top on that.
Afi, what did you get?
Afi rolled a 6 and a 4.
6 and a 4. Outstanding. Okay, so that's the rest of the points that you need to move through this space. You ooze under the door. What do you look like when you're in this ooze form?
So it's not as much of an ooze as it is a liquid form, because he becomes a part of the South Pacific Ocean. And so as that happens, what wafts to the rest of you is this fresh scent that just reminds you of just standing on a beach in the middle of the night as the like cool air comes to cool you off, because it's so fucking hot all the time. And so that's just kind of like your feeling, and that's what happens. So it just kind of like glides under the door.
Okay.
It is very dark, because like the South Pacific is no joke. It is its own entity, and it has claimed the lives of thousands, if not millions, of people, and is just cruel. So goes under, and then Afi kind of just like reappears in the door, and just for the flair of Afi and his fieriness, doesn't open the door but kicks open the door and just kind of beckons to everybody, and in Psalm 1 says Sauia, which is just like, come on, and like we're moving forward.
Okay. You do
Which
that.
is going to playfully fan himself at Offie after seeing him kick the door in like that.
Hell yeah. You feel good. Like, you feel strong and you feel powerful. That extra sparkle that you have now in your soul from Dorothea is really taking shape. And as you will your corporeal form into this beautiful deep blue wave, you can feel yourself moving through the space easily. And when you appear on the other side, you kick it like it's a soccer ball, like it's nothing to you. The door crumples inward dramatically and kind of breaks off its hinges and launches inside and just completely decimates any other Nazis that might still be weakly trying to get to their feet behind that kind of upended table. As you kind of look up the stairs, though, Afi, you can hear footsteps running. And you see at least 3 or 4 people, if not more than that, beaten feet up the stairs to a different level. You see, you can see from where you're standing the doors to several of these other several of these other tiers of the floors, like the levels of this building, have been left open. It looks like they're trying to relocate people and move people out of the way, knowing that you guys are coming, but not knowing what you're coming for. And as you kind of look upstairs and you see one person stare down at you, he kind of locks eyes with you. He looks like he might be up by the roof. He looks young and fit and healthy, almost handsome, and his blue eyes kind of glint at you as he takes out a canister and breathes it in. He points at you as he huffs this weird, I don't know, almost viscous and oily looking aerosol that's inside of this mask, and points a finger at you. And you see the hand that's pointing at you grow in size, the veins bulging, skin turning a flushed shade of red. And he backs up and away and closes the door to the roof access. And that's where we're going to take a break. On our way out, I unfortunately made the mistake of skipping Mirm in turn when we all went around to do our intros. I'm so sorry. I'm realizing now I probably didn't really do a very good job of introducing myself either. I'm so sorry for that. You guys know who I am. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you more about me at the end. But Mirm, could you please let everybody know who you are and where people can find you?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Mirm. I use she, they pronouns. And today I'm playing the very, very long-winded name Someone Man who goes by Afi. You can find me on Blue Sky at Mirm with 3 R's. That is Mirrrm, where you can find all the places that I stream weekly, bi-weekly, and kind of just like all over the place. I made a card and I'm starting to do more things online. I'm a writer by trade, so I love writing poetries and things like that, and novels and everything in between. So yeah, that's me.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for skipping you earlier. Everyone, please go and follow and find these fantastic individuals online. This game so far has been lit. If you have the means to donate, please do keep that going. We're trying to raise some money for the Sickle Cell Foundation this weekend. And if you can't, just retweet and let your friends know. We really appreciate y'all being here, and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to BIPOC Vampire Day, BIPOC Vampire Weekend, honestly, at this point.
Facts.
I am your GM today, Candace the Magnificent. These are my fabulous players. Please, if you can donate, please do. We have some options. If you donate $10, we will get an additional die to use for whatever anybody wants. If you donate $20, you will either get a weapons drop or a free reroll of all of the die that are included in your pool. If you spend $30, there is the Bowl of Silly Voices. People will have to do a really stupid voice for the next scene of their choosing. And then for $40, a special ally will show up randomly. So please feel free to donate. I believe that mods will let me know, or my producer, someone will let me know when there are donations. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much to Tomasi for being a fantastic producer behind the scenes. Y'all can't hear Tomasi's voice, but I mean, they're just killing it today. Like, she is just murdering this job, and I am very grateful to have her as my producer.
Keeping us organized. So
you know what I'm
good.
saying? On time as well, which is difficult for me because I have time blindness. So with that, you know, Charm, you are muted, but
I know,
see that
but
you
I'm
are
sorry.
feeling me. No, be the same.
Yeah.
Every
Fine.
project that I am on, I'm like, even now. Anyway,
Look,
back to
time
the
is
game.
hard.
A little CPT is expected. It's BIPOC Vampire Weekend.
So, we were last on Afi. Afi, you see this guy point at you and kind of back up into the stairwell. Do you give chase right away? Has he unlocked something in you, or are you waiting for your friends?
I don't think there is anything yet.
Mhm.
As soon as everybody like comes over, I'll be like, big guy, bigger, but big guy, and then point upward, and then I'll like bring out my grappling hook because I have that, and just like ask and like kind of gesture to be like, I can like get us up really fast if needed.
Oh, Bucci immediately like wraps their arms around Coffee without missing a beat. Like the moment he's like goes in.
I turn to the other two like,
Absolutely.
no!
This is a group project time of this feeling of the party getting repelled by the one party member. We have to do it.
It's kind of great. Yeah, Dorothea just nods and signs thank you and walks on over as close as possible, kind of snuggles up.
Heck yeah. I got a
You
warm body.
You smell good.
Everybody smells so good.
You all have a polycule moment. Where you're all just like,
repelling like midair.
we're vampires, we can do what we want. That's like the spirit and the energy that you guys are having. Like, it's really good. Everyone's kind of basking in each other's vibes, and as you make your way up to the next floor, you see doors that are just opened right as you climb these stairs. The first level, you see a lab. It is deserted in here. There are all kinds of machines that are still kind of beeping and hissing as the pneumatic power kind of starts to reduce in each of these. You can see like tables where people were once held with straps on them being experimented on. No one's in there now. You can see all kinds of just weird, like, it almost looks like torture devices, but it's a laboratory, so you understand they must have some kind of scientific purpose, but they look cruel and unusual and scary, even for y'all. I mean, to some of you, they might look a little fun, but some of you might be like, that's not for me, and that's cool. We don't vampire kink shame here. We vampire kink celebrate. So all of this is what you see. This floor looks like it used to probably house people, but now has been turned into this museum of horrors. The door at the other end is welded shut. You go up another level. The door is closed. The outside of it has been fucked with so that you can't open this door. And as you kind of test a hand, you put a hand on it, you kind of snarling into this window, you see the face of a very handsome, light-skinned, very obviously biracial black man. He looks at you, and in very broken English, with a very thick French accent, He warns you away. We are safe here. We are survivors. This is our place. We have taken this floor back for us. Are you okay with that? You are clearly on our side. No? You are killing the scum.
Mucci looks
Nod.
down at his like viscera covered body and is gonna give like a nod to the person on the other side of the window.
He looks at you. His shoulders are huge. Like, this guy is jacked. He's wearing a white undershirt. He looks very sweaty. He's covered in a little bit of blood. It does not appear to be his. Behind him is another woman. She looks like she's Middle Eastern. She has long, thick, dark hair, blood, kind of a handprint across her face. Her fingers are red with blood. All of these people look like they're intact, but it is clear these humans put up a fight. The people who tried to get into this area and mess with this side of the building clearly rued the day they did that. As you guys kind of take in these people inside in all of their glory, and see that they have like kind of set up a balustrade inside so that you can't get in, you realize you are standing in viscera. You look down and there's various body parts, various bits of gore, entrails, brain, on the floor beneath your feet. You are squelching in this kind of human paste. And they kind of look down at your feet as you look down and look at you. And the look on their faces is very much you don't fuck with us. We don't fuck with you. We're on the same side. They level a gaze at you that is very serious and sober, but also hopeful. And the woman reaches a hand out and touches the window. Maman, she is the oldest person in our building. She let us know that you are here for us. But for us, not for us. We want to thank you. We left you a little something. And she points up to the next landing of that staircase. And as you move through that area, you can hear music coming from one of these other floors. Right above you. On that landing is a bag with weapons in it. You got a weapon drop. So everyone can take one of these things, or as many as you want, really. I mean, there's 4 items inside.
Whoa.
There is a cannon, like it looks like a hand cannon that someone has wrangled. It has 1 use, and there are 3 pluses. So the number of pluses, I should have said this earlier, the number of pluses is how many dice you can add for the thing, right, for the weapon. So the pluses are there, and it says immobile target. So if there's something that is stationary and static, a person is not moving at you, then you can use this cannon on that. It has 1 use. Then there is also a painstakingly maintained masterwork great bow, like a big great bow that has beautiful kind of ornate gilding. It looks like something that Nazis have probably stolen from some indigenous people that live nearby. It does not look like anything that would come from Paris or from Britain. It's clearly the property of somebody else. That has 3 uses. The 2 plus signs, it's a silent killer. So I assume that means, something that lends itself to being snuck with, or whatever interpretation you guys have. Then there is a loose glowing fuel source. It's in like a little pneumatic tube, one of those tubes that has like the metal on either side and then a clear glass canister. In there, you can see like little nuggets of some kind of glowing material. It feels like a fuel source, but as you pick it up in your supernaturally inclined hands, it feels like if you threw one of these, it would probably explode. Each of them, it says plus, so this has 1 use, so you can throw the entire canister. 2 pluses, and if you are near something flammable, you get an extra die. And then your prototype beam. A prototype beam, it's a beam emitter. It almost looks like what we now know is like a ray gun, the way that ray guns looked in like the 1950s and like Plan 9 from Outer Space. It looks kind of like that. Very experimental in nature. Y'all have never seen anything like that before, but it looks pretty simple. You just press the button. That has 1 use, 4 plus signs, and if you properly calibrate it before firing, you should be able to get those additional die. So if you use that, you can set yourself up or set someone else up for an attack by saying that you spend 1 blood to properly, calibrate or something like that, whatever it is you'd like to do in the moment. So those are your 4 items. that you have received from your French friends. And as you are moving again through this area, you finally wind up at the apex of this next floor. When you look inside, you see the Blue Note. There's a club here. It's like the 10th floor. Everything in here is new. The bar is polished chrome. The drinks are even more top shelf, imports. The piano is fresh. The strings are tight. It is perfectly in tune. You see the bodies of the band, all white people. Remarkably similar to the exact same kinds of band members in the Blue Note. The tables are arranged the same way. You see the bodies of the people who were tending bar. Everyone in this room is white. They might not all have been allied with these Nazis, but it's clear that they accepted whatever was being thrown at them. This is an all-white version of what you all have downstairs. That is for the creme de la creme of this regime. And before moving on to hide themselves or to try and get out of Dodge and avoid justice, they killed every single person that aligned themselves with those people. Because at the end of the day, it's just flesh. They're just more people in the grand scheme of whatever it is that they think is right within the confines of fascism. There's no hope in this room. And quite frankly, there's no sadness in this room. You all kind of take it in. If you'd like to get some free blood, each of you can drink the dregs of these people for an additional 1 or 2 blood, depending on what you roll. If you want to roll to see what you can do, just kind of walking through this room.
If I can,
Mm-hmm.
I have one more use of my fragmentation grenade.
Okay.
Seeing this room, seeing these people, and seeing what they have done.
Mm-hmm.
In my brain, this is not a place to feast. You've done atrocities. You've done great horrors and just tremendous wrongs. As if my fellow players will allow me, I'm taking the last of my fragmentation grenade, and this, because it's the last one, I get like 3 pluses to it. I'm setting this room ablaze.
Okay. You explode this room. Please go ahead and roll. You're going to do your extra dice, the pluses. That last use, just add 1 more. So roll all of that and tell me what you get so we can resolve it. But the rest of you see Alexander kind of lob this in the bright kind of silk of his suit that still somehow appears to be largely unblemished despite all of the violence that has been wrought this day. You see him arm over, and they throw this frag grenade into the middle of this place. And as it kind of lights up, you can see the neon of the sign behind the bar spark to life. Club Baumwolle, the Cotton Club. Still stealing, even in death.
In order to give my permission as a player, because it was asked of me for this moment after all this description, I would like to play 1 solitary note on that piano.
Okay.
In
Hell
honor
yeah.
of this moment. This is
Hell
good.
yeah. Beautiful. What'd you get, Alexander?
I got a 6, a 5, and a 4.
More than enough. You throw that. I'm going to give you guys +2 moving forward that you can take, like 2 additional die for the success, since you're not able to really apply it all to this room with your objective. You see this place start to crumble. As nice as everything looks, it's largely a facade. We are in a period of war, and that affects everybody, both the aggressors and the people being oppressed. And in this moment, you see the cheap kind of decorations that people have put up to try and make this an elite club, something better than anyone else has seen before. All of you have concrete and brick. You have materials that stand the test of time. This room goes up like a tinderbox. It says a lot about who they are, who these people are, and what they have done. And as it starts to explode, you see the door at the other end open. some of the people that were in here chose to try and walk away for a moment, to try and hide, hoping that you would be tricked, and came running in thinking that that explosion was the closing of a door. You see their surprised faces as you take out about 10 people that have rushed through this door, excited to get back to having a nice time when other people are suffering in the streets. And all of them start to alight. You see flames licking at their hair, at their clothing. This clothing is cheap. The cotton goes up like that. You start to see them running around the room, doing what they can to hold on. Some of them taking out their weapons, some of them screaming out things that you don't quite make out, but you know they're probably things you don't want to hear. Swears, cusses, slurs, things that are abominable, just as abominable as they are. And as you see each of them fall one by one, never getting even so much as a breath in the same vicinity as all of you, you're able to kind of feel an inherent peace. That last sigh that goes out of the room sounds like a musical note, and it harmonizes with what you're playing on the piano, Dottie. Then you hear the door slam above you. Do you all just give chase?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You head up those stairs again. You see one more floor that has been vacated. This looks like to you, Affy. You're a bat. You have a very heightened senses, right? You might not have like the best vision in the world, but echolocation makes it easy for you to find what you need no matter what, right? That's still a power that you have, even though you are a giant variety of this bat. And in this moment, there's a smell and a feeling that you're getting from this floor, from this area, that reminds you of that man that pointed his finger at you before disappearing up onto the rooftop. Do you all choose to go in and explore?
Can I send the ghost? Can I send the soul of the guy that Dottie sent ahead?
Absolutely.
And this is not an opportunity for him to redeem himself. I want to make him a voodoo-esque, like undead servant of mine, like completely bent to Bucci's will. And
Perfect.
so he's going to send, and I'm going to do my best to make this look like a facsimile of this guy prior to like his decimation. And so for all intents and purposes, I'd like for the Nazis just to think that whatever this asshole's name has just walked up the stairs after all of the chaos.
Okay. You send this corporeal creature through. We're going to take those two moving forward. I'm going to take one of those for this, right? He comes to life, and you see him look at you. There is a solemnity to his face that was not there in life. That even to his dying breath, there was fear, but there was also smugness. And now that it's all gone, he's just left as the person he originally was, without any of that borrowed power. His shoulders are slumped and his head is down. And as he starts to kind of take shape and become less transparent and less see-through, he walks through the door with the rest of you kind of waiting outside. The room appears to be empty, but as he enters the space, you can hear the grumble of an older man talking. He comes into view. This is obviously the head scientist of this structure, this plant. It's supposed to be a building where people live, and they have corrupted it and twisted it into whatever this is. This isn't a laboratory. This looks clean, like the room where they take finished products. There are bloody footprints on the ground, a broken canister that looks very similar to that same blue kind of potion that man was inhaling earlier, Afi. Cracked on the ground. It looks like this guy has had his head partially beaten in. He's still alive, he's still sentient, he's still walking around, but there's been some damage to his cranium. And you hear him low and slow say in German, "I don't know where he went. Have you seen him? Have you seen him? He cannot get out into the street. It is not time. I understand we have people engaging with us right now, but it is not time for him to be free. It is not. We must get him back at all costs. Do you hear me? Look at me. Why aren't you looking at me?" And he starts to get really, really annoyed. You can hear the German sounds coming out of his throat, getting kind of more guttural, more desperate. as he looks over in the direction whence he came, and he sees all of you. And he switches to English. I have been paid well for my sins. And I will die for them, and I understand that. But you all might want to be careful when you go up to the roof. The thing that waits for you there is what did this to me. Chained. And here I am, this hurt, this harmed, by my own creation. Do you understand how that feels, to be so betrayed?
Do we still have that weapon bag? Go ahead, Blackwell.
Oh, I was just verifying that we're all in the room, like listening to this conversation.
Yeah.
He's now
believe
speaking
so.
to all of you. He saw
Yeah,
where
this
the
was the
army
angle for us.
soldier went from, that
Mm.
came in from, and kind of just like turned his head, realizing that he's not getting an answer out of this guy.
Yeah. Do you have a thought?
I have a thought. It's
Alright.
very much the same gesture he's been doing, putting his arm, like his hand on someone's shoulder, and just smiling at them and saying, sense of betrayal, of being used, forgotten, doing something for someone only for them to just toss you aside. Do we understand? He lifts him up in the air. Who wants first dibs?
Dottie slowly raises her hand.
And he's holding him like a piñata at this point.
She puts her hand back down.
I'm not going to make anybody roll for this because y'all had fantastic rolls in the previous scene and we didn't really get to resolve every single point that you gave. So each of you just go around and say what you do in this moment. If you take blood from him, you can. If you don't want to take blood from him and you want to impart something into him, if you want to say something, whatever it is, everybody go around and this is your moment.
Dottie very quietly takes a few steps forward, as she usually does, keeps her heels from making too much sound, and observes this individual as he's being hoisted up high. Walks around him as if analyzing a product for sale, analyzing a specimen rather than a full human in this case, just because that's the way he wanted to treat the rest of us, isn't it? That's the way he treated everyone else he interacted with, so why not share? And eventually decides, she shrugs, Cass makes a little hand motion like she's not interested, takes a few more steps back to the group, observes the room for a moment, and then turns to him and signs the phrase, "Enjoy your sins." And as she does that, there's screeching in the distance. Windows shatter as a swarm of bats, through the ability Night's Willing servants, enter this room and swarm this man's body, burrowing into his skin.
If you spend 1 blood,
I'll spend it. What do you want?
I will allow you to keep this bat-laden man for the next room.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Easy spend, easiest spend of my life.
Does anybody else want to take blood from him? Because if so, there's 1 blood in it for you. No questions asked.
I will take. I'll take a little. And there is this that stank of gasoline with like the kind of sulfurous like undertones. This is utilitarian in nature, right? I think that hearing this asshole like wax poetic, most of that I think was tuned out by Bucci because he didn't want to give this asshole the satisfaction of having anything even approaching catharsis in death. So he is going to kind of like he's not even going to fully take the katana out of the hilt on this, but he is going to like cut the Achilles heel of this guy. And he's going to like cup his hands because he's not putting his mouth on this thing. And then he is going to sip it up.
Okay. Afi?
By the way, when each of you steps forward, like Dottie retracts the bats, like she signs to them to stop, just so that way, you have free reign.
Thank you.
I mean, for Afi, it's like little family members coming to visit, right?
It's my cousins. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I would like to use a flashback if you'll allow me.
Yes,
For
please.
something that isn't on my sheet, but something that is true for me personally.
Absolutely.
So, part of Afi's namesake comes from one of the mountains in Savai'i, which is one of the islands in Samoa, and it's literally titled Maunga Afi, which means mountain of fire in English. And so on the top of this mountain, Afi stands with his grandmother, who is the matriarch of his family. And he's very small, not very old, probably like 7 or 8 years old. And it's just kind of like a lessons day with grandma. And because we're at the top of a mountain, Afi's mind is like, am I going to learn how to fly today? Like, is that what's happening? Because that'd be so cool. But that's not what's happening. What is instead happening is his grandmother is teaching him the process and traditions and teachings of the old ways in which memories are passed through people. And the memories of his grandmother are somewhere in Afi because of that sort of thing. And in a cruel way, you can also bestow memories onto others if you can get a hold of where memories are held. So you said that like the back of his head's kind of blasted out. And so as we come back from the flashback, Afi just doesn't say anything to this shell of a man who's not even really, and just like grabs the back of his head, fully like putting his hand into his brain and deposits the memories of his ancestors as the Germans came to Samoa and infiltrated families and beaches and killed people and took names and did incredibly horrible like colonization to the islands at large, and just kind of smiles and lets it happen and doesn't let go, as like that transfer of memories is kind of like leaving him finally so that he can live his life without having all of those memories holding him down, and just he can become like more of who he really is now that all of these are given to this fuck shit.
Okay. The rest of you all see Afi, his affectation change a little bit. Would you say, Mirm, that Afi kind of swells a little bit with pride at these memories? Like it was a day that was kind of a double-edged sword, but being able to gift these memories, and gift being a loose term, being able to rid yourself and gift these memories to him, right, is a moment that is one of great catharsis. So I think as this is happening, all of you see Afi stand a little bit straighter, shoulders a little bit more broad, even taller than he already kind of was. His eyes glow a little bit as this magic is being worked, right? As this energy is being transferred. And you see the forms of various warriors in Afi's ancestral past kind of illuminate in these memories. And they take these stances, these kind of ephemeral and incorporeal stances of attacking this man. And as they bring down their weapons, you see his eyes start to tear up in his final moments. The bats have been burrowing into the wounds that you all have inflicted, going through his mouth, into his chest, into his open cavity, into the missing piece of his skull and his brain, into the slice at his Achilles tendon. And now he's being essentially piloted by these bats. But there is still a shred of him inside. And you know, because you can see the tears falling from his eyes, this man has been an orchestrator, a composer of violence visited upon so many countless people with no end in sight. He has continually advocated to his higher ups that people are just things. It's fine to experiment. What's a little experimentation here or there? A few innocent souls in the name of progress? What else could you possibly want? In this moment, there could be no less innocent soul, and yet here he is, an experiment, body piloted by the undead bats that have raided him from the rage of a vampire, his mind filled with the realities of the terror that he has visited upon people for decades. And in that moment, something kind of transfixes you for a second, Afi. You see your ancestors, a long, thin, ceremonial blade held to this man's neck. And as it grazes across it, there's no blood that comes. It doesn't cut him. But you see almost a warping of his voice box. The Adam's apple there twists and shapes into something unfamiliar and opens up into almost a sucking hole. This creature now has the power to scream in agony. And anyone who hears it, that'll subtract a die from my dice pool. But you have to spend a blood to activate it. This creature has 4 blood. So there are 4 times that you can activate this power. And you can also whoever wants to roll for this creature on your turn, you guys can work that out amongst yourselves. I'd say between Afi and Dorothea, just because you are the two that really have like affected this person the most. Alexander is holding on to him and has imparted his powers before the man died to make this all easier for the rest of you. So whichever way that you guys want to slice it, this is fine. But essentially, you can spend a blood and there is a shriek that will take away 2 of my attack dice in a future combat when you use this. He looks at all of you, and Alexander, as you drop him, you hear the crunch as his bones start to shift now that he is like all but dead. There, like I said, there is still a shred of his humanity. He is still with you. He's not completely dead, and he is being sustained by these bats. His misery feels like it wants to latch on to all of you to commiserate with him, but there is no empathy to be found here, nor should there be. It's almost like he is in a room of his own making, but everyone can still see him. His negativity kind of contained in this kind of pulsing effect all over his body. The sickness in his soul finally finding its way out to the surface. As you guys pull yourselves back out of this room and head up to the final stairwell, you see a latch, a little doorway in the top of the ceiling that says rooftop access. It is very bloody, and there is a broken body at the bottom of it. It looks like an SS officer. What used to be an SS officer. The skin is nothing more than a sack filled with bone shards and buckets of blood and entrails and soft, like, sweetmeats inside of this skin sack. His suit is crumpled. It isn't even the same color anymore. It is so stained with blood. It is pitch black, including all of the little accessories, the little flags and awards and medals, the pageantry of it all, reduced to nothing, broken like someone has stepped on this person. The pins are like in the flesh as you try to move this out of your way. What could have done this much destruction and damage? And as you open up that hatch and you pull yourselves up out of it, you see something very strange. The first thing you take in is that there is, in fact, a zip line from the rooftop to the top of the Eiffel Tower, clearly designed to make it easier for all of you who cannot fly to get up there, although you do have a 7-foot-tall bat who probably is strong enough to bring you all up there himself.
Please? No.
You also see some lights, some very kind of very rudimentary, almost like an attempt at fairy lights, but in the 1940s. Someone has obviously tried to deck this out nicely, but it looks old. It looks like it's been up here for maybe 5 or 6 years, but someone has finally found a way to plug it in. There are children's toys up here that have not seen play in some time. They're crumbling. The wood is splitting and rotting. You see different patio equipment and things like that. This used to be a beautiful community space. There is a garden that is long overgrown from a lack of care. And You see two figures standing between you and that road to the Eiffel Tower. That route that is opened up in front of you. At first, you think they're about your size. But as you continue toward them, because they are not moving, they are waiting for you to come to them, you finally are hit with the reality. There is a werewolf standing in front of you, easily 7.5 feet tall, huge, hulking shoulders, eyes red with madness, mouth caked in a foamy, almost putrid-looking saliva, like a froth, like it is waiting to sink its teeth into you. The hands are gigantic. The claws are razor sharp. You can smell this kind of strong pheromone kind of coming off of this creature. It smells musky, but very dank and dark, almost undead. Patches of its fur are missing. It's clear that this werewolf has been fucked with somehow. This doesn't seem like just your average, everyday, saw it in a picture book kind of werewolf. One of the eyes appears to be clouded over, but doesn't stare blindly, so you know that there must be some kind of enhancement there. But this hulking beast howls at you. You can hear it reverberating and echoing off of every metal surface on this rooftop and rolling over the city of Paris and the streets of Paris, which are now empty, save for a couple of tanks off in the distance you see making their rounds for the night. Next to him is what can only be considered a humanoid shaped man. His skin, which clearly used to be white, is now an angry red, almost a burgundy color. There's spots of black all over him, and as you focus your vampire vision in on this guy, you realize that blackness are his veins. Something is pulsing throughout this man that is making him an abomination. His neck, there's striations where his muscles are bulging underneath the skin, pulling it taut, looking dangerously close to bursting and yet deeply powerful. The eyes are the only thing that remain even slightly human. But you've seen Nazis before. That humanity is arguable. It's really hatred. It's really a lack of concern or care. It is a taste for blood without being brave enough to actually ask for it. It is not something that you could ever respect. And as they advance towards you, we're going to say that the objective here is to get to the top of the Eiffel Tower. The rating's going to be a 6. So you're going to need 6 successes in the objective. The wolf is a threat level of 8. The Ubermensch, also a threat level of 8. They attack for 5, so I will be rolling 5 dice when it is my turn to hit you guys back.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do abilities work? Are these things that we can just pop off at once?
Yes. So your abilities, you can do them as much as you want, but you do have to use like pay in blood, basically. So if it says spend 1 blood, you spend your blood, and then the ability is correct. You're really only supposed to use your abilities, I think, once per session. This is a one-shot, so if you've used it once before, you can use it again in this scene right now.
So if it says special, do I have to do anything different, or is it still the same rule applies?
Ah, your special. Okay, so your special, you can use a critical success to use your special. So you have to use a 6 for that.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So as this werewolf is coming, barreling down on us, I would like Alexander to there's a reference here. Anyone who ever seen JoJo Bizarre's Adventure, when it's Dio, God, what is their name? Can't remember their names at the moment, but that meme where they're walking towards each other, ready to fight. That's how Alexander is stepping up to this werewolf as they're just walking up to them, cracking their knuckles. Again, that same charming grin. I've been waiting for a challenge all night long. You think you're big and bad. You haven't seen Big and Bad yet. And I want to try to use Terrify.
Okay.
Kind of basically looking at this creature and reminding them, you only get your abilities at night when it's a full moon. I'm powerful 24/7, baby.
Okay. Yes. You look up at the moon, and it is at half mast. This is not a full moon. It's bright enough to be giving you all the light that you need, or that they need, really, in order to complete this fight, but it is not full. They're still transformed, but you do know that they are not at full tilt. And I think as you look up at the sky and you bring your gaze down to that werewolf, there is a look of wavering in those eyes. Like you've called a little bit of their bluff. They roar at you in defiance of what you're saying to them. What's your first move here? What are you doing?
I'm using Terrify.
Okay. And how are you going to terrify this thing? Just your general presence? Calling
Just
his
my
bluff?
general presence as I'm walking them down, like I'm walking towards them, heavy footfalls. You can feel the energy signature coming off of this person. Yes,
Okay.
very gaudy outfit. Yes, they have this smile on their face, but there's a sense of threat.
Mm.
There's a sense of, you know how there's always that one person in the room that's like, everyone's like, yeah, like we know him, and everyone's like a ha ha he he, but they know better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That is the crash out friend.
Okay.
That is the crash out friend who's always waiting.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid to catch a case.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your threat. What are you going to add to this?
Let's see. There's nothing I can really add, but
Okay.
I'm mainly looking for just to get a crit.
We have the 2
Okay.
dice from the club too. The
Can I do
problematic
a
club.
supportive action for this?
What would you like to do?
I would like to, and I'll flavor this in a moment, but I want to use Phantasmagoria, which is a okay game, but a classic game, but also like the name of this ability. And it is spend 1 blood to conjure nightmare illusions in the area immediately around you.
Okay. So you're
would
backing
like-
up your homie with some visuals then.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
I'm gonna
You're the
take
friend
out.
on the track giving the yes. In the
Yeah,
background.
100%. Yeah, I'm the
Right.
hype man for this.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'm going to have Bucci take out the katana, and he's going to slice his hand.
Okay.
And he's going to do this silently as
Mhm.
Alex is walking up, and he's going to draw some ruins in blood, in his own blood behind him, and he wants to cast this kind of prismatic reflection of several of Alex's and make it unknowable to these monsters which is the real one.
Okay. That's very sexy. Please go ahead and roll for that. Well, no, you don't have to roll, right? You just spend 1 blood?
Yeah.
Okay. So blood spent. Blackwell, I'm going to go ahead and give you a +1 to this because you are confusing these mooks. I do have my 5 dice that are here to get you. I'm going to say that I'm going to remove one of these dice because to allocate for the confusion that that Bucci just gave for you. So I'm already down to 4 dice instead of 5. So you go ahead and roll. Tell me what you get.
And that's all I needed. I got a 6 and 2 4s.
Woo!
What I'm going to do is use that critical to activate one of my abilities,
All
which
right.
is Apex Predator.
All
so
right.
what you see is, like, again, as I mentioned before, this is like a 6'4", 6'5" kind of guy, like definitely smaller than Affy. This person starts to get larger, bigger. The sleeves of the suit just tear away as they're stepping forward, footfalls creating craters on the ground as they get bulkier, larger, more monstrous, as again, they're cracking their hands, claws elongating, fangs elongating. Is this a man or a monster? No, I'm Liberation.
Beautiful. So your Apex Predator kicks in and you stare at this thing and you watch it as it starts to shake in its place. It's staring at you. It can't believe that you all brought the same power that he has, that this Ubermensch has, who you see slowly trying to pull up another canister to attempt to hold it to his face. He doesn't get it there before anybody else can act, but you do see him readying one to take another hit of whatever it is that's going on in his body. The werewolf looks at you, and you can see its knees starting to shake and buckle a little bit. That threat rating is going to be reduced by 3 because of your apex predator. That means that he goes from a score of 8 down to a score of 5. You have put so that's where would you like to allocate your other 2 successes? Do you want to allocate them both to the wolf, one to the objective and one to the wolf, or any to me, any to your defense that will remove the threat dice from me?
Oh
Attack
no, it's
dice?
going all directly to the wolf as he comes
Okay.
down with the meanest haymaker, just right hook, left hook.
Beautiful. All right, so you have allocated 3 points into this werewolf. You only need 2 more before he is toast. Your objective, just by nature of what you guys are doing and the successes that you've gotten so far, your objective, you need 4 more to be able to move on to the next area. And then there is 1 for this Ubermensch because Afi showed up and scared the shit out of this person. And this trickery that Bucci has woven up here has made everybody much more uncomfortable about their chances and their options. Who is next in this moment?
I was thinking about using the bow, if I can use that.
Okay.
While Bucci is going to leverage the distraction of these kind of prismatic reflections of Alex that are going about, and he's going to ready the bow. And I want to use my sneak skill if I have to roll off of something. And I want to shoot the canister out of the Ubermensch's hand before he has the ability to huff it or to use it.
Excellent. Okay, so you are using this bow. And the bow is a really rad weapon, honestly. It is, you get 3 uses, like I said. You're going to add 2 dice to this stealth roll, to the sneak roll. And because it is a silent killer, and you are using the cover of that imagery, that spell that you've just woven, I'm going to go ahead and say that you can add an additional die for that. So go ahead and roll. I resolved the attack toward you, Blackwell, so toward you, Alexander. That werewolf looked at you and was ready, like raring to go, was ready to just sink their teeth into you, had a moment of pause. I rolled 2 3s, a 2, and a 1. So this creature gets a false start on you, and you see it like move through the motion like it's gonna run, and it ramps up like it's gonna run, and then it stops short as it kind of locks eyes with all of the U's that are around it. And not only is this scary because there's more than one, but you also transformed while Bucci was weaving that spell. All of your reflections are equally as jacked as you are in this moment, and he is terrified. You see him take a couple of steps back away from you as he is struggling to kind of power back up and kind of reclaim some of that fear and that kind of that ferality, but he is struggling. Bucci, what did you get?
I rolled 6 dice and only got 1 6, which I needed those extra ones.
What other successes did you get?
I got a 1, 2 2s, a 1, a 3, and a 6.
Okay, so just a 6. That's totally okay. So in this moment, that's still 2 successes. How do you want to allocate those? You want to allocate them to shooting the thing out of the guy's hand?
I do, and then you can only use your special on a crit, right?
Yes, on a 6.
Okay, I want to use my special back pocket hex.
Okay.
Which reduces a threat's attack rating by 1.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that Bucci, before shooting the arrow, is going to kind of ritualistically cover it in the blood from the open wound on his hand, specifically the tip of it, before he shoots the arrow. And I'm going to shoot that at him. My goal is to disorient him even like further, I'll say, which is where he gets like the reduce from. We want to like in addition to the horrors of being surrounded by several different versions of this like increasingly big, increasingly intimidating werewolf, I would love, you know what? After shooting the arrow, I would love if we could get some of that like purple ancestral Black Panther plane mist kind of comes out of it and is disorienting. It kind of goes around him, which obfuscates his vision and makes him even more kind of disoriented.
Absolutely, yeah. He raises that canister to his face. He's about to take a big huff in, and as the smoke, that vapor fills that chamber that he's about to inhale, your eyes dart over to it, and that hex takes shape inside of the glass jar. He takes a
Mm.
deep breath in, and you see him stagger as he grows a little smaller. His
A little too
muscles
seasoned
shrink.
for him.
His body is still that angry red color, but a little paler, a little closer to flesh tone, and he is now a threat of 7 instead of 8. I'm going to put 2 because you used your crit. I'm going to put 2 points in that, so he now needs 4 more points to be done. You need 3 more points for your wolf, and 4 more points for your objective. As we move to the next person, you do see both of these creatures kind of look at each other and look up at the tower and then back at all of you, and they kind of shake it off and square their shoulders again. I am gonna roll the attack for this guy, and I'm gonna hold this success for now. That is 3 successes that he got. So we're going to come back to that in a minute. Who is next?
I would
Yes.
love. So
Please
this
do,
is
Dottie.
amazing. First and foremost, I just want to say everybody's so awesome. I love all of you. Okay. Following up with that, how are we controlling our screaming bat bag?
So your screaming bat bag has its own
Right.
dice.
Yeah.
You can say that all of the stats, I'd say, are probably a 3,
Okay.
just middle of the road, okay at everything.
Okay.
2 or 3. So when you roll to control this bat guy, you can argue to use your own powers if you're talking about using the bats themselves. But if you
Okay.
want to use his power, that you just spend one of your blood, basically.
Okay.
Or you
Okay.
can spend one of the creature's blood. Either way, that way you
Okay.
have more uses for it.
Does moving him around take
No.
my stuff? Okay, great. Cool. Excellent. Then
Only like actions.
awesome. I have thoughts.
Mhm.
This is a once abandoned community space, which probably means that it has one of those cute little lattice
Yes, it does.
things, little archway.
Mhm.
So Dottie and our screaming bat bag are going to head that direction. And she turns towards that. And as it turns, it will turn back towards these 2 things and go forward. And behind Alexander, though, I want to make it clear that like Alexander's fight is Alexander's fight.
Yes.
We are respecting the wrestling ring. And our bat bag will turn towards this Ubermensch, which I'm assuming they have worked on at some point, and will make that eye contact and will scream at him with his blood, with that hole in his neck. We'll open that thing nice and wide.
So you are down to 3 blood for your bat bag.
Yep.
He turns around. You see his glasses are askew, kind of hanging off of his face, and he's sort of like one of the arms kind of raises up and kind of smacks the glasses back into place. You see the hook, the little like ear, like eyelet piece that goes behind your ear on a set of glasses, just kind of go through his temple. Because he can't quite get it back up and over. And he doesn't seem to be experiencing too much pain. He kind of huffs and kind of turns around. He has a bit of a hunched back now because like his body is just filled with these creatures. And the shape of his body starts to kind of twist and warp as you maneuver him into place. He looks at these guys, and the expression on his face, he's still crying. Those tears have not stopped. You can tell that like the infusion of memory that Afi did earlier is still inside of this man. He is living in that hell that he has wrought. And he looks over at the Ubermensch and he opens his throat by tilting his head back, and the orifice there opens. The gnarled flesh twists to create a larger hole, and the sound is almost like the scream of every victim that he has ever made a person, kind of reduced a person to that victimhood. Being a victim is not something anybody wants to be. It's something that is forced upon you. And in this moment, there's no solace for this husk of a person. All of that victimhood and victimization is now visited upon himself as he screams. It pours out of this hole and it shakes the rooftop itself. It is a deep bellow. It is full of sorrow. It is full of regret and remorse. It is full of history. And as it hits and makes connection with that Ubermensch, you see him stagger back. Please roll. Just roll your brawl.
Sure thing.
Because this is your rage, you can roll your own stat for that. Either
Okay.
brawl or terrify, whichever one you prefer.
6 and a 3.
A 6 and a 3. Okay. So because you got that 6, that is a critical success. Fantastic job. As he screams like that, not only am I going to get rid of 2 of my successful dice, I'm going to get rid of my crit, actually. So a crit for a crit. But you also hear the sound of ribs breaking in this Ubermensch as the sound and force of this scream racks his entire body. I am going to put 1 more die into the pool for the Ubermensch. So now you only need 3 more hits to get him taken out. He looks at all of you with confusion and looks down at the canister in his hand and just kind of chucks it at you. I'm going to say you take 1 injury charm. Go ahead and roll 1d6, see where it goes, and then mark that on your character sheet.
Oh. These are choices. I rolled a 1. This is sick.
Okay, awesome. Feel free. So, like I said, the first row of injury doesn't mechanically do anything to you, but if you want to articulate that in your gameplay, please feel free. We are telling a narrative story collaboratively with everybody. That brings us to Afi. Afi, what are you doing in this moment? You see these people that are like weird, freakish hybrids of things. You come from a beautiful and successful and giving community of people. Right? You come from an island where people accept you, even those who do not look like you. You come from a place of understanding, of community, of family. You are, for all intents and purposes, a giant bat, which could be considered monstrous. But there is nothing monstrous about the community that you come from. And you know that, and you hold on to that, despite the fact that other people who are unfamiliar with the majesty that is being visited upon them when they get your visage, right? When they see you and your people. Like, you are comforted in this moment by the fact that these people will always stay wanting what you have. Whether that is your power, your strength, your speed, the way you look, the way you act, your resilience, the way that your people have risen, even from the ashes of the civilizations that they tried to burn to the ground. In this moment, what are you doing?
Afi is going to go for the Ubermensch because that is, in his mind, the and not the end all, but like the beginning and the origin of so much suffering that he and his people and his ancestors and his sisters have faced. And so there is a lot of anger and rage that is building, as it's just going to be a simple like swipe. Like, there's really nothing added to it. It's just, this is for my sisters. These are for my grandmother. This is for everybody. And
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you so much to whomever just donated $40. Thank you. We will have a random ally show up in just a bit. Much appreciation. That is awesome. We really thank you. Anybody else, if you can, anyone else out there, if you guys can donate, we still have some time left in the game. So please feel free if you can. And if not, thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Afi, you feel that power and that energy, and you unleash it in that guy's direction. How does that take shape? Is there a weapon that you're using? Is there something specific that you're doing? You said 1 slash of your claws is what you're using?
Yeah. I mean, like, if you'll allow. I want to still have the like incorporeal like versions of my ancestors around me. And I want to be able to take that one of their weapons in its form to use it as a weapon.
Ooh, okay. Do you...
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can we have some of them doing celebratory dances? Some of your ancestors?
Yeah, doing sivas around me? Absolutely.
Yes.
So I think from the camera's perspective, what you see taking shape in front of you, dear audience. You see the multiplied images of Alexander standing there hulking out just with like passion and justice and rage, and that energy is kind of rolling off of him. You see Bucci there with his magic alight in his fingertips, the power swirling around his fingers in and out. You see Dorothea standing there, heavy breathing, despite the fact that she has not one hair out of place, looking so divine in her glory and righteousness. And this monster that is obeying her every whim, this puppet that she has made out of those who would harm people who look like her and people who were her family and friends in a past life. And then you see Afi looming above everyone else, the giants in Afi's family, the runt that he is in that family rising above him, his ancestors flanking him on both sides, these beautiful plumes of blues and cyans and ceruleans, the color of that beautiful South Pacific Ocean swirling in these manifestations of your ancestors. And as they bear their weapons, you can choose whichever weapon is in someone's hand and loose it on this guy. Which do you choose from your culture?
I don't remember the name of it.
Totally
but
okay.
It resembles a club in a way.
Mhm.
One side is completely covered in like sharp teeth,
Mhm.
like juts of it, and then on the other side at the very tip at the top there's another one, and that is the one that kind of like sits perfectly in Afi's hands.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack. Because you were using this ancestral weapon, I'm just going to make up stats for it on the fly. I think that righteousness is going to be the word that's there because it is an ancestral weapon. There has to be some history for you to be able to use it, which there is. And then you're going to add 3 dice to that.
Ooh.
2
Nice.
because of how vicious it is, and 1 because it's incorporeal.
Nice.
Mhm.
All right. And then I'm going to be rolling brawl.
Yes.
I have 2 6s and a 4.
Excellent. Okay. How do you want to allocate those before we resolve it narratively?
How many do I need to fully end the Ubermensch?
3 to end the Ubermensch, and then you can, if you want to, I mean, he's going to be decimated, so all my dice will go away if you kill the Ubermensch. You can then assign anything else that you want to either gaining more blood, or if you have a special, you can use your special, or you can use what is the other thing that I'm forgetting? There's one other thing that you can do. You can gain blood. You can
Further the objective.
further the objective. Thank you. Thank you. I am so high on the supply that you guys are giving me with this fucking imagery. Like you guys are blowing my mind right now. So yeah, you can do any of those things. So do you want to use your special in this moment, or do you want to allocate the 6 to the Ubermensch?
On my character sheet, it doesn't have special on it.
Okay.
So
Maybe that's because you're such a fucking badass. Okay. Got it.
You're the special, Mirm.
Heard. You're the
You're
special. Yes.
You're the special.
Okay. So we're
We'll
going to
stop the
allocate
crackle.
that. We're going to allocate
definitely
those to the Ubermensch. So he's
3.
done.
Yeah.
And then 1 to the objective.
Okay, so I have this thing called bone armor.
Okay.
And so after you roll your dice pool before you discard dice, reduce the GM's successful attack dice by 1 for each one that I've rolled.
Okay, and how many dice did you roll?
3 successful.
Okay, so then I don't get any attack dice, not even on the next turn, because I'm going to move that forward since you're attacking this Ubermensch. The next roll, you guys are scot-free, so we'll set you up for that. This werewolf is like in stitches right now. He is. There's a combination of like a laugh that's coming out of him, as well as a deep mournful howl. It feels like this guy's going through a range of emotions as he watches someone who is bigger and stronger than him get reduced to absolutely nothing. You take that weapon and you look at this guy, and just like he pointed at you before, you point at him with all of the power and rage and energy and all of the righteousness, the righteous fury of your ancestors, and you launch it at him, and it hits him clean between the eyes. You watch as those teeth on the edge of that weapon elongate into the teeth that he would threaten their descendant with. your ancestors livid that you are still dealing with this in this current age, despite having all of that loss and all of that pain and misery and suffering so many years before, like no one's ever learned a fucking lesson. And as it embeds itself into his head, you see his skull split open, the pulped brain inside oozing from it as he keels over backwards, boots up.
Can I say that because it is this weapon that has like my ancestral energy in it, the very last thing that he sees before he dies is what our bat bag sees?
Absolutely. He is visited by the exact same memory. This man is so cold, tears don't come. You get a sense of sadness, but it is selfish, and it is fleeting, as your ancestors make that right, until all you feel coming from this lifeless corpse is an undying respect. This werewolf is looking at the rest of you. He is quaking with fear. It is clear that this person is not feeling their best. And as all of you decide what to do with this creature, you see the silver flash of a katana pierce the veil of darkness behind him. A dark-skinned, masculine person comes out from the shadows. His haircut is fresh and sleek and sexy. He is wearing round tinted glasses. He has a fantastically looking 40s style, like almost zoot suit cut jacket on made of leather. He is wearing a pair of high-waisted slacks with no shirt underneath. His chest glistens in the moonlight. This is one known as the Daywalker.
I
And
cannot
he has
believe.
come to your
I
rescue this
I
night.
swear to God.
As he
Riding this
grins and bares his teeth at all of you, he holds up a gloved fist and strides across to the kind of hang glide up to the Eiffel Tower, latches a makeshift carabiner on whatever they would have in the 1940s, and scales up to the Eiffel Tower, motioning for you all to follow.
I can die happy now. I think I could go.
Yeah. Part two.
Before we leave, is this
Yes,
werewolf still
so
with
good.
us?
The werewolf is hanging on by a thread. He's been sliced in half. If anybody wants to make one final attack, you could probably finish him. Please do. Alexander, finish this attack and then give us the last remaining pieces that we need to move from this rooftop up to our final resting place.
Out of weird curiosity, if I would literally get behind him and basically jump off and suplex him off the building, could I bounce back up onto the rappel to get to the Eiffel Tower?
I think that
Yes.
you have a cord that you can latch onto that and just reel yourself back up if you need to. Yes.
You can use
Absolutely.
Offie's grapple hook.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we have an extra die. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just say that, yes, you can bounce. That's how we're going to interpret this.
Ooh, you can
die.
bounce.
Thank you so much to our audience for helping us. This is awesome. So far, we've had Blade show up, which is pretty cool. I have to say on my behalf. You guys seem to think it was cool too. Pretty happy about that.
So fucking sick.
You can absolutely suplex him off the building and bounce back up.
Oh, absolutely.
Using his bones as a cushion.
So the way I'm going to do it is as this werewolf gets sliced, and there's that moment where it's just like half in, half out, like they're fading between consciousness and reality. Alexander just moves like lightning, grabs them by their waist, and what you see is, again, this now monstrous large man take this werewolf off this building. All you hear is concrete meeting bone as there's just a crunching sound. As they suplex this guy off the roof. As that happens, using the same force to come down, they come right back up like Superman jump.
Excellent. Go ahead and make me your roll.
Let's see. That's going to be brawl. And there's one extra dice. What else can I use? We'll just go with the 4 that we got.
Okay. I don't have any dice to counter you, so.
Yeah, that works. I got a 5 and a 4.
A 5 and a 4. Perfect. Okay. So you crack this guy to pieces. I'm not even going to have you allocate the dice to this guy because, I mean, Blade definitely gave you a hand with that. By the time you get down to the ground and dispatch him, he has growled to you in a very kind of monstrous and guttural voice in a surprisingly skilled English. Clearly, this is somebody that they used to send in to infiltrate, someone that they would send in to work on behalf of themselves, right? A wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak. And he begs for his life the entire drop down this 12-story building. And moments before you get to the bottom, what do you say to him?
I think there's no conversation as they're begging. It's just the grin and laughter as this man, again, this is your crash out friend, the one that wants to fight. They're having a good time, and then they get a reason, and all they hear is laughter. The whole entire street, the entire block just hears this maniacal laughter of joy and glee, then just crunch.
Okay. When you pop back up to the top of the building, you still look pristine. You look handsome. You look well put together. And your outfit is still flawless. In your infinite wisdom, you chose a bright color, red, to symbolize the passion and the vigor that you were bringing to this fight. And now that you are covered head to toe in blood and viscera, it honestly looks like someone just plussed up your fit. The blood is like shining like little rubies all over your lapel. The little pieces of sinew and bone are flecked like little ribbons stitched into the fabric. And as you all make your way up to the top of the Eiffel Tower, you get the sense that this is a final moment. This is the last moment. And when you get up to the top and you survey your space, you take one look at the Führer, this big, tough man, this person that's supposed to be the scariest man in the world. He has snot on his face. He's crying. And not in a way that, well, we need to let guys cry. No, it's not like that. He's crying for himself. He's not crying for any of the people that he has subjected to his insecurity and inadequacy. Each person, tell me what finishing move you do. You do not have to roll for it. He's yours. You've earned this.
If I could do my customary thing that I've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
Alexander just walks up to them to this man, kneels down to them because I imagine they're on the floor, puts their hand on their shoulder, and gives them that one more time, that dazzling grin, and says, "This is going to hurt. It's going to hurt now and in death. You will feel pain. You will feel pain internally. We will enjoy this, just as you enjoy causing harms to others. There is no rest in peace. There is only misery and suffering. And even then, that is just too light for you." He stands back up, kind of just dusts his hands off. "I took care of the werewolf. Have fun, my friends."
You all hear that permission.
I think we hear the unsheathing slowly of the katana from Bucci. I think Bucci has taken a great deal of pleasure and intentionality in knowing how to inflict incomprehensible amount of pain on the human body, but keeping them intact, keeping them fresh, right? Because nobody wants stank blood, and it's already not tasty. So Bucci will go, and he whistles a little jaunty tune as he casually walks with the katana slung over his shoulder. And when he reaches this ideologue, he's going to start by splitting each of his fingers, continuing to whistle as he does so. And every time he moves, every time he jerks in pain, Bucci twists his arm. He breaks his arm so that he can no longer move it.
Mm.
He goes from finger to finger, splitting each of them with this very, very sharp katana. There is this melodic quality to these screams. There is this like beauty in this intense, it's exquisite, this agony as he goes. As he goes to the other hand, he's going to start popping the fingernails off of the other one before he splits them individually, one by one. And when this man's hands are all mangled and all bloody and torn, and they don't resemble anything approaching a human hand, especially now that they've been split down the middle, he is going to curb stomp this man's head with joy. There's like a you do a hop and a skip. He's going to do a little bit of a joy in this, and that satisfying crunch as he brings down his very fashionable boots on this man's skull. He's done just enough damage to, again, just kind of bask in that agony, that exquisite pain that he has caused. He is disgusted by the blood left on his katana, so he's going to flit that off. He's going to spit on the man before sheathing his katana and stepping to the side and doing a grand gesture, a Vanna White, if you will, to his other compatriots.
Okay. Yes. Afi.
I would like mine to be after he stops breathing.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yes. So, Dorothea, how do you take this last breath away from this monster?
That is an excellent question. Dorothea allows everyone their moment of violence upon this individual, and while that's happening, she will turn to her little bat bag and give them a single franc, just payment for their services and their sins, as they so lovingly said before, and waits patiently for her turn before taking a few steps forward. And as she starts walking, she starts to hum, and it's the first sound she's made all evening. And she gets closer and closer to our lovely, lovely Führer. Kneels down now that he's been curb stomped thoroughly.
Properly humbled? Mm-hmm.
Properly humbled, as it were. And gets extremely close to his ears. And whispers nothing but the pained growl of what remains of the throat that was taken from her by his people. There are no words, just rage, sorrow, but also raw determination and faith and hope and dreams. And she takes a few more steps back and signs the phrase, "You're welcome."
The light goes out in his eyes. You can see it dissipating. Unseeing eyes stare at you, Afi. His head is at your feet.
As everyone turns to Afi, Afi is dancing. Slowly, all of the vestiges of all of the ancestors come to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and Afi is fully weeping as he dances alongside all of his ancestors who have come before him, and for every ancestor who died at the hands of the colonizer state of Germany from times before the war, because this war has been fought and has endured for long before this time. And so Afi, this is very personal to him and to all of who he knows. As this sort of dance comes to its climax, Afi screams something into the night that none of you can understand, because it is spoken in Samoan, but the basic of it is to tell all of the spirits and all of the ancestors that are with him to take the spirit of the Führer in front of him and to have their way with him, however necessary in the afterlife. And slowly, as it kind of winds down, it dissipates. So does Afi's like energy, and he just comes into a sitting position, looking at a dead body that he knows no longer has a spirit.
You all sit in that silence, the cacophony of the spirits rising, swirling around this black Icarus-looking soul, if you can even call it that, that pitifully perks up out of this dead mouth, swirling and swirling around it until, as you said, all dissipates. Those people taking their justice off in the afterlife. And there's nothing. There's silence for about 3 minutes until you hear the explosions begin. Coffin drops are happening all over the city. You see them far and wide out in the distance. This war is over, and the rest of your vampire brothers and sisters and siblings are going to make sure it stays that way. That's the end of our story. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you for sharing in this absolute vibe of a game. Things have been really hard recently, not that they aren't always for people of color. And it felt really good to be able to wrest back some of that control, even in a fiction world. Please, everybody, keep yourself safe. If you guys need compression time, anybody who's watching, I highly suggest you put something on that makes you smile, makes you feel good, spend time with your families. Even when we are in moments like this where the rage and the jealousy, the energy, I should say, are flowing, and you know that everybody is telling a story that we all want to hear, it can still take a toll on you. I know my players, some of you are going on to other games today to continue this mood. At the end of your sessions, please make sure you're taking care of yourself. If you're going off to do something now, please take care of yourself. I will be here if anybody needs compression. If you're a viewer and you want compression, you want to hit me up, slide into my DMs. I'll be here for you. Thank you so much to BIPOCVampDay for hosting us. Thank you to Maki for our production. Thank you to BomoCame /Bomo Jason for the overlay and the art. Y'all did it so well. Thank you to Punk Taylor for all of the coordination that she did behind the scenes. With that, please everybody go in the same exact order as we did before. Clockwise on the screen, starting with Aetherius. Let everybody know who you are, where people can find you, and yeah, that's it.
Sounds good. Can we, in my mind, in over the credits, we see Bucci chopping up Blade, asking him if he wants to sword fight. Like
Absolutely.
in my mind, that's how we leave Bucci.
Yes.
But yes, my name is Aetherius Bordeaux. I'm known around the internet as Vampire Himbo. I'm America's #1 choice in Vampire Himbo, many years running. You can find me at Vampire Himbo on most socials, except for here on Twitch, where I am Vampire_Himbo, where I've been doing some solo streaming. I am wanting to tap into some of that childhood nostalgia, and so I will be streaming the first RPG non-Pokemon, right? Because I am a child of the 90s, and that was kicked it off for a lot of us. One of the first RPGs that I played, which was not Final Fantasy 7 or 8, but number 9. And it's a hot take. I love that. I think it's the best one.
9's
and
great.
I will curb stomp you about that in an online argument. But yeah, no, I had such a blast tonight. This was like such a cathartic experience. This table was jaw-droppingly amazing. Everybody bought their A game. I haven't played a TTRPG in a while, right? Like on or off stream, and this was a pitch perfect like reintroduction into this art form and this like methodology of self-expression that I have so much love and affection and reverence for. So thank you to Candace for running the table, for BIPOC VampDay for putting this together, to every one of the players here. This was fantastic, so good, so amazing. And yeah, I'm always I'll be at PAX Unplugged this year, so ask first, but I'll be giving out hugs for sure there. And I think that's it. I think that's me. Me.
Okay. Next.
I think that's me. Hey everyone, how y'all doing? My name is Blackwell, your everyman of the TTRPG D&D verse here on the interwebs. You can find me on Logomancy's channel tomorrow playing What Did We Do? Where it's basically a D&D game where we don't know our stats, we don't know our characters, we have no idea what happened in the last 48 hours. as we come to our finale of that season and see what goes down as we try to get this baby silver dragon back home to its should be lawfully good family that likes to, burn down its competitors. Very interesting. Like, that don't sound lawful good at all. You can also find me on next month during Roll for Wishes on Logomancy's channel, raising some money for children for the holidays. Like, everyone deserves to have a good holiday. I am your everyman. As I said before, I'm a regular guy, just to show you that, hey, you can do this too. And before it happens again, I'm going to pick up this ball and hand it to Mirm.
Thank you, Mirm.
Yes.
It's your turn.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Mirm. I use they, she pronouns. And I am Mirm with 3 R's on a lot of places. Sometimes there's underscores, other times there's not. It's kind of a hodgepodge at this point. But that's Mirrrm. Excuse me. In about 2 hours, you can catch me on Tabletop Misfits playing the Power Rangers TTRPG, where I play Trinzax, our Breel Yellow Ranger, who everyone thinks is kind of a murder clown, which she kind of is, but it's fine. That's her culture, and that's just where she comes from. And then on Saturday, I will be on the Nerds with Dice channel, where I play Deborah, who is like a 50-year-old white woman in Wisconsin who's trying to survive the zombie apocalypse, and who may or may not be gay because she just doesn't know how she feels about dick anymore.
Aww.
But it's her ex-husband's name, so it's kind of a cool, fun running joke that we got going on over there.
Great.
Yeah. But yeah, you can catch me there. I love playing all kinds of TTRPGs kind of all over the space. So yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Charm.
Excellent.
Sick. Hey y'all, I'm Charm. I am at Charmfoolery at literally everything. And well, the easiest way to describe it, I'm a cosplayer, I'm a streamer, I am a tabletop content mercenary. If there's something to do in tabletop, I've either done it, I'm about to do it, researching it, all of the above. I think, I'm not sure if our other Vamp Day
Next Sunday,
there will be another thing for Vamp Day that me and Candace were both in, and it's going to be super awesome. It's a Vampire the Masquerade, a beautiful first part of a thing that will be a little bit longer than a one shot, and it's really cool, and I love everything about it, and it's such a gorgeous celebration of what it means to be Black and what it means to be a Black vampire in a world that likes to deny that we exist, except for entertainment. And honestly, I do all sorts of other stuff, mainly cosplay though. You can catch me at East. PAX East usually is a big cosplay con for me. Otherwise, BlizzCon next year is my next big cosplay con. I will be out Unplugged for fun and panels, so you will catch me there as well. It's going to be a good time, and I can't wait to see me play with all of you. This table was fantastic. I honestly was just sitting here like, damn, we needed more time.
I feel that.
Right, I was like, oh man, I want more of all of you in some way, shape, or form, and not in the horny way. Though also, if we agree to it, that's cool. From an RP perspective, I'm recently married.
Rub it in, why don't
I'm
you?
not poly. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. I know. I'm sorry. Look, it's important to celebrate in these dark times. Okay,
It's true.
Everybody should make some time for joy. Make some time for love today. It's wild. It's challenge, and I hope that there's a little bit of catharsis for y'all today too. And you know what? Have an excellent rest of your eve. And in that case, I know one more thing that needs to get said. Aetherius, take it away.
Yes, so sorry. I've been out of the game for a little bit. I'm going to give this an exclusive because this is kinfolk at this table, and you guys showed up, and the audience has been amazing, and I got to Riz up Blade. So, speaking of the Marvel universe, I am making my big return to long-term APs, and that starts this fucking week, which I could not be more excited about. This is a Marvel TTRPG show, so if you just canceled your Disney Plus because you like to support free speech, but you still want to get that Marvel fix, you're still trying to get your comic book on, this is a perfect show to do that. This is X-Men focused. What I am so excited about is that I, for the first time ever in my TTRPG, am playing an existing character. I've never stepped into the shoes of an existing character. I will be playing David Aline, who is Prodigy, if you are familiar at all with like the new X-Men. He is an X-Men that can absorb the knowledge of others. This is a different universe than 616. This is a completely different story. This is a different like spin-off of Xavier's. This is like the offshoot school in Alaska where Logan is the headmaster. So if that sounds interesting to you, and if you would like to check that out, that'll be on Arclight Court. That's going to be every Tuesday, I think, for the next 6 weeks at minimum, I think is the first season. So please come check that out. I cannot wait to do that. It's going to be so much fun. And thank you guys for letting me like remember ADHD moment. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I have something to plug.
Thank you so much for adding that on. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah.
X-Men. I have been your storyteller, Candace Magnificent. My pronouns are they, she, and a sprinkle of he. You can find me at the Candace Marie on Blue Sky, at Candace Magnificent, everywhere else. I am 1/4 of 3 Black Halflings. Yes, you heard that right. You can hear me every week on 3 Black Halflings, wherever you catch your pods. If you want ad-free episodes, you can go to our Patreon. Our most recent episode is an honest and frank discussion about the death of Charlie Kirk. So if you're interested in knowing what 3 Black people feel about that that are in the TTRPG industry, please listen wherever you catch your pods. Other than that, you can see me on Tuesday nights for the rest of the month over on Guild Superior, running some Monster Hunters Club, which has been very cute so far. Keon, who was originally going to be in this, unfortunately couldn't join us tonight. Shout out to brother Keon on socials. Check him out as well, please. They are lovely. They're actually at that table. So if you would like to see the 6th member of this cast, that is where you can find him. And I think that's it for me. I know we ran over a little bit. Thank you again to Tomasi for your patience with us and for your guidance. Thank you to the audience, everybody who donated, everyone who retweeted. We really appreciate y'all. Please support the next anything else that's coming up from this channel that's happening in the future. Powering. Thank you. Okay. So please support Powering. Make sure you are throwing down some cash for that if you can. If not, again, let your friends know and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, y'all. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Bye, friends.